They certainly do have the momentum, Crawley. They've just been shaking hands with the presentation party, the chair of the EFL, Rick Parry, and Andrew Rushgrove, commercial managing director of Sky Betting and Gaming. A huge day for both these teams, a huge day for Scott Lindsay as well. Such tragedy in his life over the past few years, and he gets to celebrate today with his team after the hard work that's brought him to this place as we speak. Final thoughts before the national anthems, which take place very, very shortly. In fact, right now they're about to throw to it. So I was about to ask you a question, Perry Groves, but my clock says it's time for the national anthems. And today that's going to be sung by Naomi Simon alongside British Sign Language interpreter Dave Shields. Simon there singing God Save the King ahead of another showpiece final here at Wembley Stadium. Game 49 of the season for Crawley Town and Crewe Alexandra, with a place in League One on the line. Sit back and enjoy this one live here on Talksport 2 with your commentary team of former Arsenal winger Perry Groves and your match commentator on Talksport 2, Nigel Adderley.
Thank you, Faye. Good afternoon once again. And it's fair to say that very few people outside of the towns of Crewe or Crawley believe that either or both of these clubs would be here today. The playoff football is all about peaking at the right time, and although Crawley sneaked into the playoffs with a big run at the end of the season and Crewe rather limped into the postseason with a poor finish, both have come good when it matters, and in a division littered with big clubs next season, those who have come down from the Championship and the big spenders who have already got promotion from League Two. The third tier next season is a mouth-watering prospect, and it's an opportunity, a massive opportunity here for either Crewe Alexandra or Crawley Town today. And Perry Groves, when you look at the clubs who'll be there, Bolton, of course, from yesterday, Birmingham City have come down, the two Yorkshire clubs, Rotherham and Huddersfield, have also come down, the big spenders, Stockport and Wrexham, Peterborough, who lost in the playoffs. It's going to be really hard next season, but for either of these clubs, two small clubs, let's be honest, today is a big chance.
Massive chance, obviously, to go up to another tier. You mentioned the big clubs there as well. Welcome them to your home ground, so obviously the revenue increases. But the players, Nigel, they won't be thinking about that. They're not bothered about that outside stuff. All they're concentrating on here is this 90 minutes. And trust me, when you're at Wembley, having been lucky enough to play here myself a couple of times, it can be energy sapping, Nigel. So you've got to make sure, obviously, we know that Crawley are known as the Ange ball of League Two, where they like high intensity, like the high press, but they have to do that sporadically, because you can't do that. It's probably 75 degrees out there. You know, a third of the pitch is covered in shade. So over on the far right hand side as Crawley are kicking into that left hand goal. So these players have got to make sure that they just try and conserve that little bit of energy as well, because I think this could go into extra time.
Well, if it does, it will be an energy-sapping day. A reminder of the two teams again. Crewe Alexandra unchanged from the second leg of their semi-final victory at Doncaster. Max Stryach in goal, Lewis Billington, Ed Turns, Mickey Dimitriou and Rio Adebisi the back four, Joel Tabernier, Connor Thomas, Shiloh Tracy, Aaron Rowe and Chris Long in midfield, with Elliot Nevitt up front. For Crawley, Corley Adai in goal, Will Wright, Lawrence Maguire and Dion Conroy the back three. Callan Gordon, Liam Kelly, Jay Williams, Jeremy Kelly, Kaladi Lodos and Adam Campbell in midfield, with Danilo Orsi, their leading goal scorer, in attack. And as the sun just dips behind a cloud for a second, Wembley is in welcome shade as Crawley Town will get this game underway, attacking the east end of the stadium, away to our left in the first half, as the Spider Camp swoops from below right across the playing surface here at the National Stadium. It is Crawley in all white, Crewe in their red shirts, white shorts and red socks. And the Sky Bet League 2 playoff final is off and underway on the home of the EFL, Talksport 2. The third tier is 90 minutes away for either Crewe, Alexandra or Crawley Town. They came through the semi-finals against the odds. Who will take the big chance here at Wembley today? And Crawley look to try and play out from the back, and in the end they rather make a mess of it. And Corey Adai, their giant goalkeeper wearing all blue, defending the goal away to our right-hand side, has to hoof the ball into the crowd right at the start of this game.
Yeah, it was really poor ball back actually from Will Wright. Crawley keeping possession, obviously after the kick-off. Then it goes back to Corey Adai, and he has to take a touch. To be fair, it was really good closing down by Elliot Nevitt, just put him under pressure, and he had to smash it out of play.
Crawley do play with three central defenders. One of those, Dion Conroy, heads away on the far side. Will Wright, one of those central defenders, is the brother of Mark Wright from Towie, and the other, Lawrence Maguire, is the brother of the Manchester United and sometime England captain Harry. One has slightly better footballing pedigree than the other, let's say, as Crewe try and bring it forward on the far side with Joel Tabernier, but it's all the way back to Ed Turns, and now Lewis Billington, only 20 years of age. This really his first season as an established first teamer, and already there are covetous eyes from bigger clubs higher up the food chain than Crewe Alexandra looking at Billington and the number of other players. As a long ball is played forward, looking for Elliot Nevitt, and it bounces through towards Corey Adai once again.
Yeah, did you see it was Dimitri on that left-hand side, who's playing left of the two centre-halves, just trying to help it into that left-hand channel for Elliot Nevitt to put a chase on. But to be fair, Conroy and Maguire, the two of the centre-halves for Crawley, good communication, just let the ball roll through to Adai.
Liam Kelly, who was relegated out of the Football League with Rochdale last season, at the heart of the Crawley midfield, also has Feyenoord among his list of former clubs. Now Jay Williams, who was a real force of nature for them in both legs of the semi-final against MK Dons. Wide to Adam Campbell on this near side, but it just skips away from him, out of play. And Crewe will have a throw-in on this near side, which Lewis Billington will take. And both of the coaches out on the edge of their technical areas. Lee Bell in a black tracksuit, and Scott Lindsay with more casual attire. Dresses a bit like Perry Groves as it's cleared away on this near side.
Well, TK Maxx, man after my own heart. Can't beat those size 11 trainers, get them for 20 quid.
And of course Crawley came into this as the lowest ranked team in the playoffs, 7th position, but 7th has won 6 times in the last 18 years, so it just shows teams that often come up into the playoffs can go all the way. Crewe finished 6th in the table, and only 4 teams have got promotion from that position in 35 years. Tranmere and Coventry did it most recently in 2018 and 19 as Crewe win it back in the midfield area, and they look to play it wide to this near side. Billington was already forward on the overlap, but it's back towards Mickey Dimitriou, who lost back-to-back playoff finals with Newport a few years ago. Now a high ball over the top, looking for Nevitt again, headed away by Conroy, and Nevitt is looking to attach himself to Dion Conroy to the right of the Crawley back three at the moment, as he tries to bring the ball forward again in the strip of shade, welcome shade for the both sets of players on the far side, which is the Crawley right hand side, and in the end Maguire will go all the way back towards Adai. And 4 minutes play, Perry Groves, 0-0, and it's very nervy from both teams.
Yeah, you can understand, just trying to settle down. Crawley maybe just sort of edging possession, but a couple of times Jay Williams in that centre midfield area for Crawley, he got caught in possession. Since Thomas and Taberner, the two Crewe centre midfield players, make sure that they're going to go and put pressure on him, because just looking at Crawley the way they play, we know obviously the centre halves like to split, but with Jay Williams and Liam Kelly just plays a little bit behind Jay Williams, so he becomes the pivot. It's very similar to Bournemouth, the way they play with Ryan Christie and Lewis Cook, where Lewis Cook drops a little bit deeper, gets himself on the ball, and Ryan Christie plays just a little bit more in front of him. It's exactly how Crawley have set themselves up.
Now Maguire on this near side, infield to Williams, who was quickly challenged, manages to stab the ball forward. It almost breaks to Campbell. Orsi wide to this near side, but he's unable to link up with the American Jeremy Kelly, and it's cleared away by Billington. Nevitt does well to divert the ball in field, but it's tidied up by Liam Kelly, who will sweep it all the way back to Corey Adai. And looking around the stadium, the Crawley supporters heavily outnumber the Crewe ones. They have swept around all of the lower tier and half of the middle tier here at Wembley. Average crowds of around 3,500 this season. 6 times that number are here supporting Crawley today, as challenge comes in on Lolos, and Crewe try and break forward with Tracy, and then the high ball over the top again, but this time it doesn't quite fall for a red shirt until it's gathered by Adebisi, and his pace down the left hand side should be a real weapon, and it will be a real test for Callan Gordon as well, because he loves to get forward down the right for Crawley, but he needs to be wary of the threat coming the other way. As Tracy gathers now for Crewe on this near side, skips away from the challenger Jeremy Kelly, low cross into the near post, gathered comfortably by Adai.
Yeah, good play by Tracy down this right hand side. You say, just hurdling over the challenge of Liam Kelly, gets himself to the byline, just needs, I think, as he gets to the byline, maybe just to dink up the far post, tries to whip it into the near post, and when that happens you've got to make sure that Elliot Nevitt, Crewe's centre forward, he's got to make that run diagonally across the near post. In the end, it didn't give Corey Adai in Crawley's goal any danger whatsoever.
Elliot Nevitt really came to prominence with a hat-trick here in the FA Vars final for Warrington Rylands. Only 3 years ago, he was quickly snapped up by Tranmere Rovers before moving on to Crewe 18 months ago. Didn't score in his first 24 games at Crewe, but has 18 goals this season, and he really has become a very effective striker for them, with Rowe and Tracy able to play just off him, or often in a two as well, with Courtney Baker-Richardson, who was on the bench here today.
Yeah, just looking at Crewe as well, out of possession. Nigel said about conserving your energy. They're just making sure they're dropping back into a 4-5-1 formation, just leaving Elliot Nevitt up front on his own to try and engage the three Crawley centre halves, and basically just let them have the ball when it's in Crawley's own half.
Campbell forward towards Orsi, and back towards Campbell again for Crawley, wide to the far side, looking for Gordon, quickly cut out by Adebisi, and he will come forward, tries to find Chris Long, who was making the run ahead of him, but is cut out by Williams, all the way back to Adai, who quickly clears downfield up to the halfway line, but in the end the challenge was made by Lolos, almost took the ball away from Orsi, and Crawley will have to try and build again. With nearly 8 minutes played here on Talksport 2, the home of the EFL. It's the League 2 playoff final, and it's currently goalless between Crawley and Crewe.
Yeah, Jay Williams did really well there, because obviously he's playing in midfield for Crawley, but because they'd pushed their three centre halves high and wide, Jay Williams made sure that he stayed in that right hand berth, because when Crewe are getting it, all they're trying to do, Nigel, is just help it on into the channels, obviously for Elliot Nevitt to chase, and if they're going to give the ball away at the moment, they think we'll give it a ball away as far away from their goal as possible, and Crewe dominating possession.
Gordon looking to come forward again down the right, but it's cut out by Adebisi, and Crewe will try and play the ball out themselves into the bright sunshine on this near side. I was down at pitch side about 10 o'clock and it was very warm then, and Wembley does have the habit of almost sucking all of the air out of the stadium. It's very still down at pitch level, and once it heats up it doesn't get any cooler.
You're not wrong, Nigel. I had a really bad experience which Faye reminded me of in about 5 minutes when we met earlier against Luton in the Littlewood's Cup final in 88, where it felt like I was actually towing a caravan, and that was from the first minute when we kicked off. It must be the importance of the occasion. Obviously Wembley's a massive pitch and it can be energy sapping, so at the moment Crewe are just thinking, right, we're going to keep our shape, we're not going to be too adventurous, we'll just help it on into the channels.
Cleared forward by Max Stryek, the Crewe goalkeeper, signed on an emergency loan from Wycombe, out of contract. He's leaving Wycombe, so today is some opportunity for him to try and find a new club. Well,
he was their hero, wasn't he, in the penalty shootout? 2 saves, low down to his left-hand side. Crewe ended up winning, obviously, the penalty shootout 4-3. And that's why they're here today. But as you said, just been a very sort of tentative, it's been like a bit of shadow boxing, Nigel, isn't it? You know, just sort of trying to work each other out.
Madai now going along again, looking for Orsi right down the centre, losing out in the aerial duel with Dimitriou, and then Kelly is being cleaned out by a rash challenge, and Ben Toda, the referee, will at least have a word here, because it was pretty late and pretty high from Connor Thomas, and I wonder if the yellow card will be out here for the first time today.
To be fair to Connor Thomas, he's been on the front foot every time the ball's coming into midfield, whether it's into Jay Williams, Liam Kelly. He's the one who's trying to obviously get his challenge in. That's his fourth challenge. The first three he won really cleanly. That one was back from the 1980s, where you think, right, I'm going to take the ball and I'm going to take you, and if I follow through and hurt you, then that's tough. But to be fair to the referee, Ben Toda, he's actually just had a little word in his shell, like, basically, Nigel, that means he's got one more foul and he'll be in the book.
Yeah, no yellow card for the player who was promoted from League 2 with Cheltenham back in 2021. And they played an incredibly direct style of football, so at the heart of the Crewe midfield it's a very different style of play, as the free kick from Maguire was overhit and it's cleared away for Crewe on this near side. Tracy will try and skip away from Kelly, and Kelly was left writhing on the turf there as Tracy out-muscled him, but the ball down the line on this near side was quickly cut out by a retreating Jeremy Kelly, and it will be a throw into Crewe on this near side with 11 minutes played here on Talksport 2. 0-0. Don't forget the final day of the Premier League season coming up later on. Game day exclusive on Talksport. Arsenal against Everton here on Talksport 2. We will bring you Sheffield United against Spurs, and there will be other games available as well on the Talksport app. Liverpool against Wolves, Brighton against Manchester United, Brentford against Newcastle, and Luton against Fulham. All those games kicking off at 4 o'clock, so it's a great day if you haven't already to download the Talksport app, go to the live commentary section and swipe between the games you want to listen to. And that all gets underway after our business here at Wembley in League 2. And then don't forget, on Wednesday night we will bring you all of the European finals on the Talksport network, and we start on Talksport 2 with the Europa League final, Atalanta against Bayer Leverkusen. And we'll be back here next weekend, the FA Cup final on Saturday and the Championship playoff final on Sunday. As Crewe try and come forward again on this near side with Maguire. Just a bit of keep ball between himself and Liam Kelly, and now Williams spreads it wide to the far side and right down the line, looking for Lolos, who tries to ride the challenge of Dimitriou, but Dimitriou used all his experience there, and it will be a throw into Crewe on the far side. Yeah,
just looking at tactically from Crewe's point of view, we mentioned Connor Thomas obviously had that crunching tackle on Liam Kelly, but then when they try and get the ball forward, when Lolos just tried to make that run down the right hand side for Crewe's point of view, then it's Connor Thomas who's picking him up, so they make sure basically they're going man for man when they're out of possession for Alexandra.
Kaidi Lolos, 15 goals from midfield for Crawley so far this season. The goals have come from all over the team, of course. Danilo Orsi with 24 goals has really taken the eye, a player who showed nothing like that sort of goal scoring form previously in his career, and really the same goes for Elliot Nevitt, Crewe's top goal scorer, who was a 6 or 7 goals a season man before the current campaign, as Crewe win a free kick inside the centre circle, just inside the Crawley half, with 14 minutes played here on Talksport 2, and it's been a very tense and edgy start to the playoff final. But here is Dimitriou coming forward for Crewe now. High ball in down the left hand side over the head of Nevitt, and claimed by Adai, who quickly bowls it out to Jeremy Kelly, who's got time and space to bring it forward on this near side. Back in field to Jay Williams, signed from Brackley in the National League North, one of so many former non-league players on the field for Crawley here. The early cross in beyond the head of Orsi, hooked up in the air by Turns, only as far as the edge of the penalty area. Lolos will try and win it back, and then the volley from the edge of the penalty area from Liam Kelly is high over the top. But already we are seeing how Crawley can find some joy around the Crewe penalty area.
Yeah, it's just really good play down the right hand side from Callum Gordon, just making sure that he's giving them Crawley a little bit of width. He just whips the ball into the 18-yard box, but there's only Daniele Orsi in there. From Crewe's point of view, they've got to flood the box a little bit more. It's a really poor clearance from Ed Turn. You said there, just comes out to Kelly, and just on the half volley, he can't get his knee over the ball. He ends up just skying it completely over Strayek's crossbar.
Crawley, in their first ever playoff campaign, they are the 105th different side to be involved in the EFL playoffs since they began in 1987. And Coventry were the last team to win their first ever playoff. That was back in League Two in 2018. Of course, they've since had a championship playoff final, which they lost to Luton last season, as Crewe try and bring the ball forward again with Tavernier right down the centre. Again, he's being caught, and it's very tightly contested in the midfield third at the moment, and it's a free kick for Crewe just inside the Crawley half. And Jay Williams on a couple of occasions now has just been caught short as he looks to make the challenge, and he's committing fouls inside his team's own territory.
Yeah, it was a really good play by Joel Tavernier, just picking the ball up, driving through the centre of the pitch. He ended up skipping past Jay Williams, and then Jay Williams, obviously the tactical foul, just gave him a little trip. To be fair to referee Ben Toner, he's just trying to let the game flow.
And again, it is another really poor set piece from Tavernier, flighted high into the penalty area and way overhit behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, just looked down in the tackle area for Crewe, and Lee Bell just scratched his head thinking, I have no idea what Tavernier's tried to do. I think he's just tried to dink it in for Shiloh Tracy just to get in that channel. Just completely overhit it. Just a little bit of fear, Nigel, in both teams at the moment.
Well, all of a sudden they were the underdogs in the playoff semi-final, and particularly in the second legs they could play with real freedom for different reasons. As Maguire comes forward now for Crawley, back to Campbell on this near side the left, and now Kelly back towards Liam Kelly, and Maguire takes over again. Good ball to find Campbell on the edge of the penalty area. Liam Kelly exchanges passing with Orsi and strikes the shot, which is saved by Strayek. Never really got hold of it in the end, but Crawley played right through the heart of the Crewe midfield there, and then the back four, and in the end Liam Kelly just lacking the punch when it mattered.
Great play from Crewe on their left hand side, 1 and 2 touch passing, just comes into Liam Kelly. Liam Kelly plays a little give and go with Orsi. Orsi's a great little flick back into Liam Kelly's path, and I think he's just trying to bend it outside Max Strayek's left hand post. In the end he doesn't quite get the right purchase on the ball, just got to start a little bit further outside the post, but the best move of the game there from Crawley Town, and that epitomises the way they like to try and play Nigel. Just look, 1 and 2 touch give and go, really good play from Liam Kelly.
Now Maguire wins it back from Aaron Rowe, and then Rowe clatters into him, and Ben Toner this time runs out of patience and shows the game's first yellow card to Aaron Rowe, who lost the ball and in his eagerness and frustration to win it back clattered into the challenge and received the game's first booking, and he has a long time to manage that now.
To be fair, I think he's been a bit unlucky there, Aaron Rowe, because that's just a culmination of sort of late challenges. He's happened to be the third one, and you said there Eddie just comes in on Lawrence Maguire. It is late and it is a little bit high.
Yeah, catches him high as well, which exactly. I think it was the height that got him the booking.
On the follow through, yeah. So to be fair, Ben Toner didn't really have any option but to book Aaron Rowe. But it's been very well contested. And as you said, Nigel, in that midfield area, there's been a lot of snappy tackles going on. Each team don't want to give up any space.
High ball played forward now for Crewe. Nevitt does well to rise in the air above Conroy and flick the ball on, but that's the problem for them. When he wins those aerial duels, there was no one anywhere near it in a red shirt. Yeah,
he's a little bit isolated at the moment, isn't he, Elliot Nevitt? I'm saying they're just trying to go long very quickly, Crewe, where it's into the channels or into Aaron Nevitt, and because Chris Long, Aaron Rowe and Shiloh Tracy are so deep when they're defending, they can't get up and support him. So therefore they can't get out and just keep giving the ball away back to Crawley, who have gradually started just to dominate, and they've spent more time in Crewe's half than what Crewe have in Crawley's half.
19 minutes played, 0-0. And Crawley had the first opportunity to launch a long throw into the penalty area here. And it will be delivered by Will Wright on the far side, the right. And Wright loops it high towards the near post, aimed towards Williams, and Williams there was doing some pushing and shoving as he looked to win the high ball, concedes the free kick inside the penalty area, and Crewe have the opportunity to clear once again.
Yeah, it's just you said there, just a little bit of grappling going on from Connolly, just making sure that Turns and Dimitri didn't want him to get to the ball first, but he's got to make sure that he gets in front of them so then that he can get the flick on first. He found himself behind them, then obviously put like the sort of the bear hug around Ed Turns, and quite rightly the referee gave the free kick.
And you're listening to Crewe against Crawley in the EFL 2 playoff final on Talksport 2 with McDonald's. Order McDelivery on the McDonald's app and get tasty reward points. 18 plus, terms and conditions apply. Now Wright in the fullback area for Crawley on the far side, plays it down the line, and it's gathered by Lolos, who tries to throw a couple of shapes and jab it further forward, looking for the overlapping run of Gordon, but the ball will just squirt out of play off a Crewe boot, and it will be a throw-in for Crawley Town, who survived last season by only 3 points at the bottom of League 2, 22nd in the end, and it was a real mess when their cryptocurrency investor owners Preston Johnson and Eben Smith took over. Managers left with regularity. The fans really seemed to fall out of love with the club, but Scott Lindsay has done such a good job on and off the field, you believe, to try and unify everything once again. And as we were saying before kick-off, they've changed their blueprint. They went for some fairly expensive, biggish name signings as far as League 2 is concerned last season. They were a team of individuals, but now they've gone down the non-league route and they look a very tight-knit organisation.
Yeah, that's some really weird ideas, didn't they, contractually? I think it was Telford they signed as a centre-forward, and they said that he would get a bonus for how many times he won the ball back in the opposition's half. And one of the centre-halves they tried to sign, they said he would get a bonus and how many times that he headed the ball. When you think the ball,
happy days,
exactly 20
in League 2.
Yeah, in League 2 exactly 20-30 times a game at least. Yeah, so they came in with very left field suggestions, and I think in the end
it simple.
Exactly, they realised on the football side that you know very little about. Just hand it over to someone who does know a lot about it, and Scott Lindsay's actually proven that he does with his recruitment. I mentioned earlier about all the players he got from non-league. I think it was 9 of them, 17 new signings. They've all bought into the way that he wants to play, and they've just dominated possession here today without really testing Max Strike in the Crewe goal. Liam Kelly having the one chance where he didn't really get enough power behind it, but it's been very tentative from both teams.
Horsey does well to lay the ball off, and now Campbell uses it intelligently wide to this near side, and Jeremy Kelly, who plays on the left but is all right foot. Liam Kelly now back in field again. And there was an appeal there from Lolos, who believed he was fouled, but Crawley maintained possession. Right, finding Gordon on their right. And now Williams scoops it over the top, encouraging Gordon to try and get forward. But Adebisi comes across. Gordon will try and force his way through, but in the end the ball goes behind, and it will be a goal kick to Crewe. But at the moment, with 23 minutes played here on Talksport 2, I think we can say that Crawley have been the better side overall. Yeah,
they've been the team that's on the front foot, which is Jay Williams there getting himself on the ball, maybe just trying to force it a little bit too quickly, releasing Callum Gordon down that right-hand side. Adebisi did really well, just made sure that he shepherded the run, let the ball just go out of play.
And both these managers have had playoff experience at Wembley before. Lee Bell was a player for Crewe when they beat Cheltenham back in 2012. Liam Kelly over the top looking for Campbell, but overhit and gathered by Stryek. And Scott Lindsay was the assistant to Mark Cooper when Forest Green won the National League playoff to get into the Football League back in 2017. Stryek clears downfield. He was the number one at Wycombe for much of the season, but a red card saw him fall out of favour, and he arrived at Crewe in mid-April. And now, with temperatures rising, as we were saying, with 24 minutes played, the referee has decided it's time for a cooling break.
Yeah, you can understand that. Nigel said it's probably about 75 degrees out there. Obviously, the sun has just gone in. A few stratus and cumulonimbus clouds just coming over Wembley, just put a little bit of shade on the pitch, which the players will be very happy with.
You've been listening to Joe Shannon, haven't you?
The wind, the flags billowing gently in the wind.
No, he's our cloud expert on Talksport and Talksport 2, but you can understand in all seriousness why the players have come across. A lot of them are taking on ice towels around the shoulders because it is hot down there, and of course there is the physical fatigue and the mental fatigue as well.
They said there a lot of the players put in the wet towels obviously on their heads just to bring the body temperatures down, get the water and the isotonic energy drinks inside them just to refuel and restock. So just seeing Scott Lindsay, the Crawley manager, just giving his little pep talk to his team. Out the two managers, he'll probably be the most pleased, we said, because they've had the majority of possession. Crewe haven't really been a threat going forward at all. He's mentioned Elliot Nevitt just getting a little bit isolated. So Lee Bell, the Crewe manager, he'll be delighted that the game's still at 0-0. A little bit disappointed that they've been given the ball away very cheaply.
Well, we've seen one yellow card so far, and that's for the Crewe midfielder Aaron Rowe, and the best opportunity for Crawley, and that was a shot from Liam Kelly after some really good interchange on the edge of the penalty area, but it was gathered comfortably by Stryek. Don't forget, coming up later on the Talksport network, we have the final day of the Premier League season. Arsenal against Everton will be our commentary over on Talksport, with Adrian Durham live at the Etihad. Sam Matterface and Darren Bent will be in charge at the Emirates. Of course, Adrian and Alex Crook will be seeing if Manchester City can take care of business yet again at home to West Ham. And here on Talksport 2, Joe and Scott Minto will bring you Sheffield United against Spurs. Spurs looking to just lock down a place in the Europa League. And we also have on the Talksport app Jurgen Klopp's farewell at Anfield, Roberto De Zerbi's farewell at the Amex for Brighton against Manchester United, Brentford against Newcastle, and also Luton against Fulham. All those games available on the Talksport app. So if you download it from your usual provider, you can swipe between a whole host of games coming up later on today. And then here on Talksport 2 on Wednesday night, Atalanta against Bayer Leverkusen, the Europa League final with Jim and Dean Ashton, who is here today as a Crewe legend, which of course he is. And then next Saturday we have a full team here for the FA Cup final, the Manchester Derby, for the second successive year. And then on Sunday, Leeds and Southampton will be playing off to try and return to the Premier League in the Championship final at the first attempt. And we can guarantee that will be a set-out here for that day.
Yeah, just to mention about the stats, Nigel, it's been total domination actually from Crawley in possession, 74% possession. 2 shots on the goal, 1 on target from Liam Kelly. Crewe Alexandra, no shots on target. Haven't troubled Corey Day in the Crawley goal whatsoever. All he's had to do is pick up a few back passes and just distribute the ball.
Jeremy Kelly, excellent run and ball forward now towards Campbell, but he just slips on the turn, unable to find Liam Kelly for Crawley, and Crewe will clear. Here is Tracy on this near side, closed down though by Maguire. Liam Kelly, good ball in field towards Lolos in a central area. Left foot shot from him was almost blocked by Dimitri, but in the end I think he took the sting out of it, and it's a simple save for Stryek.
That's the wrong decision there. He's got to make sure, Lolos, that he gets his head up, because on his right hand side Callum Gordon's in acres of space. Really good play from Liam Kelly, just feeding the ball into Lolos inside right position. He's got to let the ball roll across his body and feed Callum Gordon out on that right hand side. He tried to go for glory. In the end, it's a little P roll up and doesn't trouble Max Stryek.
Liam Kelly seeing more of the ball with the bright yellow boots, slipped forward towards Orsi, and he was just caught on the wrong side there of Dimitri, which allowed Stryek to gather. But at the moment, the midfield is opening up every time players like Liam Kelly get on the ball for Crawley.
Yeah, to be fair, it was a really cute little reverse pass there from Liam Kelly. Just trying to give the Crewe back for the eyes, just trying to reverse it into Daniel Orsi. In the end, just a little bit too straight, just rolls through to Max Drake and the Crewe goal. He said there, it's Crewe Crawley just starting to dominate even more in that midfield area. Liam Kelly getting himself on the ball. Jay Williams now playing a little bit deeper, and Liam Kelly playing a little bit further in front of him.
But now Chris Long has been fouled by Will Wright on the far side, so it will be a free kick for Crewe here. Midway inside the Crawley half, wide on the far side, the Crewe left. And this is an opportunity for players like Dimitriou and Turns to get forward. Dimitriou with 10 goals in all competitions this season, including one in the second leg against Doncaster. He really set the jitters going with the opening goal, which was quickly followed up by the Doncaster own goal, which brought Crewe level on aggregate.
Yeah, just looking at the Crawley defensive line right on the edge of the 18-yard box. Crewe centre halves just on the edge of the D, and I think you'll probably see Dimitriou will spin and come to the back post. So you've got to make sure that the Crewe defenders go with the runners.
Tabernier with a free kick. It's a low scuffed effort in towards the near post. Eventually it's dug out from under his feet by Campbell. He will clear on the far side, but Crewe will have a throw in 10 yards from the corner flag down their left. And again, Tabernier all season has been putting in pinpoint deliveries, but not so far today.
That's such a bad delivery there from Tabernier. You've got to make sure that you just feed it in between the 6-yard line and the penalty spot, and he's actually snap hooked it with his left foot, and he actually went in to Aaron Rowe, couldn't get it out of his feet.
Dimitriou with a big long throw into the penalty area. Nevitt goes tumbling, and then the Crewe player stays down on the edge of the 6-yard area. That's Adebisi who has stayed down, but Crewe look to recycle on the far side. Dimitriou with the high ball into the penalty area, but an excellent defensive header at the far post from Conroy. But Crewe will have a throw in on the far side. But initially Elliot Nevitt, who did get up, has now gone down again for Crewe inside the penalty area. He's appealing for a penalty, and of course for the one game in League 2 this season we do have VAR here today.
Yeah, which is a bit of a shame, Nigel. You know, I'm not a massive fan of VAR. Just a lot of pushing and shoving. And
was he hauled down by Gordon?
No, I don't. I think that's just 6 and one and half a dozen the other. And I think he's just gone down a little bit too easily there. To be fair to Ben Toner, referee, he just basically said to both sets of players, it's a bit of pushing and shoving, just get on with it. It was really good ball in actually from Dimitriou from that left-hand side.
Dimitriou with another long throw, this time from the right, really good distance, deep into the penalty area, headed away by Maguire, but this time the free kick's been given to Crawley. It was Will Wright who hit the deck, and it's a free kick for them on the edge of the 6-yard area. We played 32 minutes here on Talksport 2, and it's 0-0, and it's a game at the moment with very little in it.
Yep, so Crawley dominating possession. Dimitriou just, that's a proper long throw, nice to be fair, because he's actually hurled it into the middle of the 18-yard box, and all the Crewe players have got to do, whether it's Nevitt, whether it's Aaron Rowe, Long, obviously Turns, come up from the back, just make sure you don't give a foul away. Make sure that Crawley have to concentrate and clear the ball, because the last thing that you want to do is just have an easy push. Crawley player goes down, referee gives a soft free kick, and in the end Crawley get themselves back in possession.
Now Turns, midway inside the Crewe half. He does turn and play it back towards Stryek. And a big boom downfield from him, right-footed, over the head of Tracy. Nodded clear by Conroy. Jeremy Kelly now plays it wide towards Lolos, and there's space on the right now for Gordon to attack for Crawley. Up towards the edge of the penalty area. Low cross in, though, is swept away by Rowe at the near post. And Tabernier will find Adebisi on the counter-attack. Adebisi, though, was quickly held up by Jeremy Kelly. And now Gordon with a deeper ball in, but Orsi was the only white shirt inside the penalty area, nowhere near it. Dimitriou will clear, and now at the other end, Nevitt does well to win the ball and spread it wide into the sunshine for Billington. Coming forward down the Crewe right, a poor ball crossfield from him, looking for Nevitt again. Nevitt showing his frustration, cut out by the chest of Will Wright. And here is Liam Kelly now on the halfway line, pulling the strings for Crawley.
At the moment, Crewe Alexandra can't pass water, Nigel. They're just giving the ball away far too cheaply. Billington there picking out the wrong option.
High swirling ball into the penalty area from Gordon, down the right for Crawley. It'll be recovered at the far post by Jeremy Kelly. Now Maguire. And the small figure of Liam Kelly, but the ball has been drawn to him like a magnet at the moment. Maguire again, back towards Liam Kelly. And he's always got time to turn, finding Williams. Now square to right, one of the central defenders getting forward. Inside the Crewe half. Kellen Gordon now looking to take on Adebisi, and he goes down, but I think he was looking to manufacture the content there as the contact as he clashed with Adebisi, and he stayed down, Gordon, but the ball has spun behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, just Callum Gordon doing his Michael Flatley foot overs there. Just puts his left foot over the top of the ball, tries to go on the outside of Rui Adebisi. To be fair, Adebisi's not falling for it, because you can see he's got his eye on the ball. And in the end, to be fair, it's actually Callum Gordon who follows through. When he's gone his foot over, he actually treads on Rio Adebisi's foot. So really good refereeing from Bentone. Referee's done well, Nigel, hasn't he? Let the game flow. Obviously under a little bit more pressure with VAR being involved today.
Yeah, Michael Salisbury is the VAR official at Stockley Park. It'll be a busy day there with all of the Premier League games kicking off at the same time.
I think they'll have a few wet towels over their heads there, won't they? A few ice-on energy drinks, heads in ice buckets.
Well, the funny thing is, as somebody who works now and again at Stockley Park, you can be making a cup of tea and there'll be a Premier League referee stood next to you.
What, in full kit?
In the queue, in full kit.
Has he got his cards with him as well?
I don't think they go that far. I'm sure they're in the back of the car though.
What, with the flags?
Yes. Now Nevitt heads it wide to the far side, and Rowe will gather for Crewe down the left, and Tabernier wins it back for Crewe, and then Nevitt does well to bulldoze away from the challenge of Williams. Right foot shot from him, turned aside by Adai. Elliot Nevitt going close, really made that all on his own, showing the initial energy to win the ball back, and then testing Adai, who has to palm the ball behind for a corner.
That was good, strong centre-forward play from Elliot Nevitt just there. Just brushed Jay Williams off for him, just swatted him like a fly. Jay Williams goes down. Nevitt just makes sure he gets the ball out of his feet onto his right foot. Gets a really good contact. Just ball goes along the floor. It's a really good save from Corey Adai, low down to his right-hand side. Goes out for a corner for Crewe on their left-hand side. That was Crewe's best bit of attacking play.
And the spider cam swoops down once again towards the Crawley penalty area as Tabernier will take Crewe's corner in towards the near post, and Conroy has missed it, fired across from Dimitriou from a very tight angle right through the 6-yard area. Nevitt regathers on this near side. His cross though is blocked at the near post by Conroy, and it will be a throw into Crewe.
Yeah, as his ball just dropped down to Rio Adebisi, comes onto his left foot. I think what he's trying to do, Nigel, is hit it on the half volley with the outside of his left foot, ends up hitting it with his instep, and then just pulls it back across the 6-yard box. There's no one there to tap the ball in.
Throw in on this near side, and again Dimitriou here at Wembley has a far longer run-up than he enjoys at many League 2 grounds, but he goes short this time towards Billington. And back towards Dimitriou with an opportunity to cross, but he slips it into the penalty area across the face of goal in the end from Connor Thomas, but cleared at the near post, and the flag was up for offside against Connor Thomas.
Yeah, just trying to mix it up. It was really clever play with Dimitriou and Billington. Billington just playing it into Connor Thomas. He's got to make sure that he's the widest man on this right hand side, that you're looking right across the line. You should not be get caught offside when you're looking across the line.
38 minutes played, 0-0 here on Talksport 2, the League 2 playoff final. At the start of a big day across the Talksport network, the conclusion of the Premier League season. And then you can have your say on the game day phone in with Jamie O'Hara and Gabby Ogban-Lahore, and Trans Europe Express with Danny Kelly at 9 o'clock will round up all of the leagues concluding around Europe. Rowe now for Crewe, down the left, comes into the penalty area, twisting and turning, but in the end, Conroy comes in with an excellent challenge, and the ball rebounds off Rowe behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, Aaron Rowe just getting onto his right foot and then just doing a little Cruyff turn, coming back, trying to get it onto his left. And to be fair to Conroy, he does really well, because he's got to make sure that his timing's absolutely perfect if you're going to go to ground, exactly what he did. He just made sure that he took the ball first, ricochet back off of Aaron Rowe, goes for a goal kick for Crawley.
And all of the action from here and the final day of the Premier League season will be rounded up with Jeff Stelling and Ali McCoist on Talksport Breakfast from 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. And the former Liverpool captain Phil Thompson will be among their guests, as Connor Thomas wins it back now for Crewe, all the way back to Stryek, and the pole hammers it forward again, but Tracy losing out in the air to Conroy, and Maguire plays it wide to this near side, and Kelly. And Jeremy Kelly has played a fairly conservative role so far down the Crawley left. He's pulling wide, but he is creating the space for Liam Kelly to try and do some damage. As Maguire goes all the way back towards Adai, who has made the most significant save of the game so far to deny Elliot Nevitt. 4 minutes to play in the first half, and there will be added time following the calling break, which was enjoyed by the players earlier. Now Liam Kelly looks to slip it through to Orsi, back towards Liam Kelly. Here is Orsi now inside the penalty area, stabs it towards goal, and he scored! Danilo Orsi for Crawley Town, and the hat-trick hero in the semi-final opens the scoring here in the sunshine at Wembley, and he did brilliantly to wriggle his way through. Everybody anticipating the left foot finish, but it was stabbed home with the right foot. Stryek wrong-footed, and Crawley Town, tipped for relegation at the start of the season, take a significant step towards promotion in the playoff final here at Wembley. Just before half-time, it is Crewe 0, Crawley 1.
Daniel Orsi doing his rodeo celebration. He's actually galloped through the centre of the Crewe back four. Brilliant play from Liam Kelly. Two little give and goes with Daniel Orsi. The second one, when Orsi gets the ball back, he's got the ball underneath his feet, and he just makes sure that he gets it back onto his right foot. And you think he's going to hit it with his left foot, Nigel, when it comes back to him. Really clever, quick feet from his left. Just steps his foot over the ball, and as the ball rolls to his left-hand side with the outside of his right foot, he bends it in Max Stryek's bottom right-hand corner, gives him absolutely no chance. Fantastic quality there from Daniel Orsi, and that is a goal scorer who's in top form. He knew exactly what he was going to do. Brilliant play from Liam Kelly. Brilliant understanding between those two, and you have to say Crawley have actually deserved to go into this 1-0 lead, Nigel.
Well, Carlisle came from behind to win the playoff final against Stockport here last season, and 7 teams in total have conceded first and gone on to win promotion in this game, but Crewe will have to try and do that here now. But on the balance of play, Crawley deserved to be ahead, but the goal came during Crewe's best spell of the first half. Across into the penalty area now, finding Kelly, and Kelly with a shot deflected behind by Billington, and that was a goal-saving challenge, with Crawley sending a second goal.
It's a cross from the right-hand side from Callum Gordon. You say drops to Jeremy Kelly, he's on his right foot. Not sure, Nigel, if he was fully confident that he could bend it inside Max Stryek's left-hand post. Doesn't really hit it full on. In the end, it just ricochets back off Lewis Billington. Goes for a corner for Crawley over on their right-hand side.
And Crawley here, just before half-time, are believing they can get the second goal. And we saw Oxford do that here yesterday, and that really knocked the stuffing out of Bolton. The corner played in, and Maguire at the far post loops a header over the top, claims he was pulled down by Nevitt as he did so. And Ben Toner, the referee, is just halting play, and they will look again at this aerial duel at the far post between Lawrence Maguire and Elliot Nevitt.
Yeah, it's just Lawrence Maguire just trying to spin round to the far post. Good delivery in from Liam Kelly. Said there, he just gets the wrong side of Elliot Nevitt. Not enough in it, Nigel, for me. It's not a clear and obvious error. Just Elliot Nevitt having a bit of a panic up, actually, and just making sure that Maguire can't get a clear run at the ball, this will just be waved on.
And play will resume. But Danilo Orsi, his 25th goal of the season. Signed from Grimsby with very little fanfare. Had his college education in the United States, played university football there. But like so many of these Crawley players, he's arrived via a roundabout route. Barely scored a goal before this season, but if it's your time, it's your time, and it's his time here today.
But to be fair, and he made himself a lot of time, Nigel, in the 18-yard box, because that was a centre forward who's full of confidence, because it was stuck underneath his feet. He just made sure that he transferred it back onto, which I thought would be his left foot, hits it with the outside of his right foot. Fantastic finish.
And there will be a minimum of 4 more minutes, and Crewe will begin it with a long throw from Mickey Demetriou on the far side, the left, in towards the 6-yard area. A dive comes though to claim it off the head of Elliot Nevitt, and at the moment Crawley have the bulk of the support inside Wembley, and they have the wind in their sails as well.
That's really good goalkeeping from Corey Adai. That's exactly what you want. If you're right, Conroy and Maguire, the 3 Crawley centre halves, and the ball's being lobbed into the box by Demetriou, you want your goalkeeper just barging everybody out the way and come in and take the ball out of the air. Exactly what he did, just to calm the situation down. And now Crawley obviously be looking to get in at half-time 1-0 up.
Or maybe more. Here is Kelly again, back towards Maguire. Crawley leading by a 0-0. And here is Maguire again, down the line, looking for Jeremy Kelly, but Billington has done well to scoop that ball away. Williams, though, steps in before Rowe to win it back, and now Kelly infield towards Liam Kelly in the space for Gordon out wide on the right, but it's Lolos who hits it right-footed. Went for glory there with players in better positions, and it whizzes over the angle.
Has Callum Gordon upset Lolos by any chance at all? Because every time it comes to him in that right-hand side position, then Lolos should just let it roll across his body and feed it out to Callum Gordon, and that's the 3rd time he's ignored him completely. And if you're going to ignore somebody, you've got to make sure that when you get your shot off, at least it's on target. So I think Callum Gordon might have a little word in Kaladi Lolos's shell, like at half-time, just say, get it out your feet and get the ball out to me.
Now Thomas wins it back for Crewe, but only briefly. Liam Kelly plays it into the wide open spaces on this near side, looking for Jeremy Kelly, but Shiloh Tracy gets there first for Crewe. And a big 15 minutes coming up for Lee Bell here. Stood there, hands on hips on the edge of the Crewe technical area. There's another loose ball played forward. Is overhit and it goes behind for a Crawley goal kick. And it's been a tale of 2 strikers so far. Nevitt has looked isolated, did well to create Crewe's only real chance on his own, but Orsi has been full of tricks and he's had the support which helped him to score that goal.
We have to say that Crewe haven't turned up, Nigel, in this first half. They look like they've played with a little bit of fear. They've played within themselves. Crawley have totally dominated possession, and they are deservedly going to go in this half-time break in front 1-0 at the moment. It's whether they can create another chance in the minute half we've got to go.
Adai clears downfield, looking for Campbell, but not a clear by turns. Now flicked forward by Nevitt, but long unable to try and move the ball further forward for Crewe. Campbell spreads it wide to the far side, and Gordon, who's got the opportunity to play it forward. And we are into the final minute of added time at the end of the first half here on Talksport 2, with Crawley leading by a 0-0. Liam Kelly looks to play it down the line for Kelly Gordon, but he was dumped to the turf by Adebisi, and it will be a free kick here for Crawley. One last chance to load the penalty area in this first half. And yet again, Scott Lindsay has given his team a game plan, and they have carried it out superbly. I think many people thought they would go to MK Dons and try and defend their 3-0 lead, but they absolutely blew them away. And it's been a bit more conservative here, but at the same time they still lead by a 0-0. Free kick high into the penalty area, but some pushing done by Conroy as he nodded the ball down, and it will be a free kick for Crewe.
Yeah, I think Conroy's just had a little tug on Ed Turns' shirt there. Bentona, the referee, in a really good position. Just blows for the free kick. Max Strejek in goal for Crewe, probably just launch this down the pitch, and then the referee will probably blow for half-time.
Well, Stockport led at half-time last season against Carlisle, ended up losing on penalties, and Crewe may be hoping for a similar story here because the half-time whistle has gone, and it's the Crawley team who race down the tunnel despite the heat and the energy they've expended during the opening 45 minutes. They look like a team full of confidence, and they lead here by a 1-0 thanks to an excellent finish from their main striker Danilo Orsi 4 minutes before half time. Before that, Elliot Nevitt saw a shot turned aside by Corey Adai. Crewe's only real opportunity of note. Crawley had been the better side and they deserve to be ahead, and the team people tipped for relegation are 45 minutes away from promotion. Half time, Crawley Town 1, Crewe Alexandra 0.
That was a really fascinating first half of football, Perry. That opening 20 minutes, it was very, very cagey, but Crawley seemed completely in control of the game. Interesting that the goal came when Crewe were having their best spell of the game.
Yeah, just left themselves a little bit open, as you said there. Crewe, I've got to be honest, Crewe haven't really turned up. They've been very, very passive. They've let Crawley dominate the game. When they're out of possession, they drop very, very deep, and that's enabled Crawley to get himself in the passing rhythm. That's exactly how Scott Lindsay, the Crawley manager, would want his team to play. And I mentioned about Jay Williams and Liam Kelly in the centre midfield there for Crawley. At first, Liam Kelly was dropping a little bit deeper. Jay Williams was playing a little bit, probably about 7 to 8 yards in front of him. Then they swapped it round. Then Jay Williams went a bit deeper. Liam Kelly started to get himself on the ball, and for the last 20-25 minutes that first half, he's the player that started. He was like the conductor with his baton. He was conducting his orchestra, and Crewe had no answers to it.
No, they really didn't. I tell you what, though, I feel as if Crawley could have had more if they'd started utilising the right-hand side. Everything's come from the left. You and I, on numerous occasions, looked at each other and were looking for that pass to Kellen Gordon that just wasn't coming.
Yeah, I think every time it came into Kaladi Lolos, who was playing on that sort of inside right position for Crawley behind Daniel Orsi, 3 times he's got the ball, and what he's got to do is be aware of Callum Gordon on his right hand side, get his body shape better, let it roll across his body and roll out to Callum Gordon, and he's shot 3 times and he hasn't hit the target. If you're going to shoot, you've got to make sure worst ways out you hit the target. The 3rd time Callum Gordon actually lost his rag, you can tell him shout and scream to say, look, I'm not being funny, get your blinkers off, get the ball out to me and I can whip it into the box.
He had the same with Liam Kelly earlier on in the game, really early on, a really blatant amount of freedom. Got almost threw my water onto.
That was good reflexes.
It was very quick, wasn't it? It was goalkeeper reflexes that. But he was free on the right hand side. Liam Kelly also didn't see him. It's like, is it because that part of the pitch is in shade that they can't see him? It's ridiculous. But I can see why he's getting frustrated, and probably Scott Lindsay's going to have to say to them, you know, it's really difficult to keep the tempo high in weather like this. It's 24 degrees. It's going to be even hotter than that pitch side. But they need the killer blow.
Yeah, very much so, because they deserve to go in 1-0 up at half time. They haven't really created any other chances. Liam Kelly had a decent chance at his first give and go with Daniel Orsi, where he got the ball back onto his right foot, and it was a decent shot, but he didn't really go through the ball, and Strejek just saved it low down to his left hand side. But the goal that Crawley scored was top quality, absolute top quality. Just brilliant build-up play down the left-hand side, couple of little gives and goes. Then it comes to Liam Kelly. He has a little 1-2 at first with Daniel Orsi, then gets the ball back, has another give and go with him, feeds it into Orsi. And we mentioned about, centre forwards. He's got 24 goals in all competitions before today, 22 in the league. That was a goal scorer who is totally confident and totally at ease the way that he's playing, because when the ball was on, he had his back to goal and he made sure that he got himself on the half turn and the ball was stuck underneath his feet, and all he did, he made sure he just shifted it to the left hand side. It looked like he was going to hit it with his left foot, and what he's done brilliantly, he's taken it quicker with his right foot, the outside of his right foot. So Max Strejek in Crewe's goal, he can't get himself set because he's waiting for the left foot shot maybe to go across him. Orsi made that look very, very easy, and it was a real difficult chance where he just took that. You can tell that he's got the confidence just to take that nanosecond, that little breath, just go, I'm going to compose and calm myself here. brilliant finish.
Game intelligence to do that in the split second, in the moment. Watching the movement of the goalkeeper was incredible. It was the harder option by far, but it was the most clinical, and it was absolutely superb. Crewe, though, they were frustrating because they were barely in Crawley's half of the pitch for the majority of the game. Then they had couple of corners come in, couple of long throws come in. Didn't really do enough physically, I felt, to get the ball towards goal. But they did force a really good save from Adderley. First proper save really of the afternoon, and it came from Elliot Nevitt, and you feel as if he is the person that's going to unlock this Crawley defence.
Yeah, in the first half it's the loneliness of a long distance centre forward, because he was unbelievably isolated, because out of possession they're dropping back into that 4-5-1 and think, right, letting Crewe have the ball, Crawley have the ball and get himself into that passing rhythm. So when they do turn it over, Elliot Nevitt is probably 20-25 yards away from his other players. You've got Tracy, Rowe and Long, who should get a bit closer to him. And the one chance that they have, it was brilliant body strength from Elliot Nevitt, where he just shoved Jay Williams out the way. He fell to the floor, got it onto his right foot, and he actually got a really decent strike. And it was a really good save from Corey Aday in Crawley's goal, because he's had nothing to do. He's picked a couple of crosses from long throws, but the goalkeeper's made sure that he stayed 100% focused, and it was a really good save low down to his right-hand side. That was the only time, really, that he was troubled. And I think going in at half-time, Lee Bell will say to he'll want him to be probably 8 to 10 yards further up the pitch, be a little bit braver, because it's all right getting back to your shape, but you've still got to go and then engage the ball. And again, you have all these coaches now with their algorithms, with their logarithms, with their iPads. You would be saying to, whether it's Thomas or Tavernier, get yourself onto Liam Kelly.
Yeah. You've
got to stop him from playing, because he's the one who's getting all the passing movements going, so he needs to be stopped.
Yep, he certainly does. It'll be an interesting team talk from the Crewe head coach Lee Bell for sure. Scott Lindsay as well, going to be wanting to push his Crawley side to at least double their lead and get a little bit more of a cushion. Now then, I mentioned earlier on that not just the League 2 playoff final, of course we are the home of the EFL here across the Talksport network. All of the playoff finals for you, including next Sunday's Championship playoff final between Leeds United and Southampton. But it's a huge day in the Premier League, both those sides hoping to be part of the mix next season. But we've got one final day to go, and our Talksport 2 commentary here at 4 o'clock is Sheffield United against Tottenham Hotspur. Delighted to say Joe Shannon and Scott Minto, our Talksport 2 commentary team for that game, are with me. How you doing both?
Hello, Faye. Very good, Faye. How are you feeling ahead of the 12-0 win for Luton today?
Well, the 12-0 win. I did see your message late last night. I got home from holiday very late last night, Scott, and I saw your message and I thought I'll speak to you live on air about that. You know my tuts that I give you about you writing us off. You're really done with West Ham being on the beach a little bit earlier last week.
It was slightly sarcastic, but you know what I think about Luton and how well they've done this season.
It's been brilliant, and I'm really proud that we've got to this point where we're not technically relegated, but I think we all know what's coming. From a Tottenham Hotspur point of view, though, I mean, such a strange seat. I mean, it's a strange club half the time in terms of how you analyse them. Then you've got Ange Postecoglou making all kinds of comments towards the negativity of the Spurs fans, perhaps ill-advised, but they could, with just a point, secure Europa League football today. They're not going to stuff it up, Scott, are they?
Well, I've had a few people saying to me, they can't be that Spursy, can they? And I don't even think Spurs can be that Spursy, to be totally honest with you. Up against a side that have lost the last 6, there's no win in 13. They're just morale is so low, and despite them wanting to try and finish on a high, even if they did get a point or 3, Sheffield United, it still wouldn't mean anything in the short, medium or long-term future. And look, it has been ups and downs, you could probably say, for Spurs and Ange. At the start of the season was nothing short of sensational. I think they overperformed, although if you also look at the teams that they played against, they were either, the 3 teams that went up, a couple of teams who were not in great form at that particular moment in Crystal Palace and Bournemouth, and got away with that one against Liverpool. It was a good performance and result against Arsenal, I have to say, but they always had overachieved, and they're never going to be going for the title itself at that moment. But since then, there's no doubt about it, it's been a big fall away. And look, we probably haven't got enough time now to talk about it, but in terms of Ange and how he reacted, I think he probably could have dealt with it in a different way, with the Spurs fans wanting their team to lose or not to pick up a point. But I actually think he should stick to his guns in terms of trying to create this winning culture, because for too long Spurs, it's a massive club, it's a sexy club, and they've got a brilliant training ground and stadium as well. But for too long it hasn't been about them winning. And I think Ange, in that particular mentality thought, is the perfect man for them. Now, I don't necessarily think his style of play is conducive to try and finishing top four. I think against the real top teams, they will always find it difficult. But no, I think they will get at least a point today. I think they'll win, and they deserve to finish fifth for sure.
Yeah, I think you're right. Listen, I need to let you go, Scott, because you need to be over on Talksport speaking to Adrian Durham, who's based at the Etihad today ahead of Manchester City's game against West Ham. But listen, Joe Shannon, I want to talk a little bit about Sheffield United, because they've announced that 5 players are going to be leaving at the end of the season, and they're 5 players that of course have got a really rich history with Sheffield United: Chris Basham, Oliver Norwood, George Baldock, Max Lowe and Wes Fotheringham. It's not been the season that they wanted. Can they end it on a high?
Well, it's always possible, and given Tottenham's history in this sort of situation, the Spursiness, you feel it's not improbable that they come away with something from this game. But I think, if I'm honest, it's unlikely. I expect Tottenham to come here and win comfortably today, even with all the difficulties that they've had, Faye. You look at this Sheffield United team, objectively, pretty much all the stats tell you it is one of the worst sides in Premier League history. So for me, Spurs coming here today, I'm sure they'll get the job done, and I'm sure they'll end up finishing fifth.
Yeah, well, we shall find out. I will speak to you dependent on how this game at Wembley goes, whether we go to extra time and penalties. I'll speak to you around about 3 o'clock as we begin our Premier League build-up. Thank you very much to Joe Shannon and to Scott Minto. It's a 4 o'clock kickoff here on Talksport 2 between Sheffield United and Tottenham Hotspur. A half-time in the League 2 playoff final between Crewe and Crawley here at Wembley, and Crawley Town lead by a 0-0. Danilo Orsi with a fantastic finish, putting his side 1 foot in League One. Second half action coming next.
EFL Live on Talksport 2 with McDonald's. Fancy a filet-o-fish in time for the final whistle? Order McDelivery now on the McDonald's app and get tasty reward points delivered too. 18 plus. Rewards account required. Participating restaurants. Subject to availability. Delivery fees and terms apply.
Say hello to the new Google Pixel 8a on EE with the best of Google AI. So
Google AI? Yeah, it's got best take.
Group pics are perfect.
EE's the only major network
that has it in aloe green.
And I can save 336 quid.
All on the UK's best network.
For over 10 years.
What they said. Maybe that's why more photography lovers choose EE.
Introductory offer ends 1st of July 2024. Eligibility, credit check and terms apply. Credit by EE Limited. Root Metrics Best Network. Verify all claims at ee.co.uk/claims.
Don't miss the UK's #1 movie, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Discover why critics are calling it the best film of the franchise. Together, strong. A jaw-dropping spectacle that demands to be seen on the biggest screen possible.
I need to go.
Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, in cinemas everywhere now.
Let me go straight to the point. When you're laying a patio or driveway, you need Seeker Fast Fix. It's ready mixed, easy to use, and quick to apply. Plus, it comes in 5 colours, and you can use it in any weather. Transform your next project with confidence. Transform it with Seeker Fast Fix. And you'll finish a quality job in no time at all. Seeker stockist now at seeker.co.uk/landscaping.
At Skoda, we love spring. More spur-of-the-moment family adventures? Yes, please. More picnics in the rain? Why not? More bank holiday lay-by wee breaks? Sure. But best of all, the Skoda Spring Event. Get £750 towards your new car when you take a test drive and place your order between the 10th and the 31st of May. The Skoda Spring Event. Visit your local retailer today. T's and C's apply. Excludes SE Tech, New Octavia, all new Superb, all new Kodiaq. Customer saving of £750 including VAT applied to OTR price. Retail customers only. Participating retailers only.
Play Set for Life and you could. £10,000 every month for 30 years. Set for Life. Play now on the National Lottery app. Terms, rules and procedures apply. Players must be 18 or over.
You know what it's like when you're scrolling through the gram and you've stopped in your tracks by the most delicious looking big treat you've ever seen, and you think to yourself, what is that? Well, the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 5 can help. Just circle the gooey goodness and Circle to Search with Google will help you find it. Oh, it's a tropical mango cruffin. Tasty.
Incredible AI. Now on more Galaxy devices than ever. Buy a Galaxy Z Fold 5 today at Samsung.com.
Where can you get the latest breaking sports news delivered with the laser-like accuracy of Michael Van Gerwen? And hear passionate opinions debated with the confident dexterity of Virgil van Dijk.
The Liverpool fans celebrate.
Answer on the radio show that's got the nation's sports fans buzzing like a Van de Graaff generator. Early breakfast with Shabana Hearn. Weekday mornings from 5 on Talksport with Adrian Flux Van Insurance. Insurance for the individual. Search Adrian Flux Van Insurance to find out more.
From the touchline to the terraces.
The League Two playoff final.
Live on Talksport 2.
This is the League Two playoff final live from Wembley here on Talksport 2. Second half about to kick off. Let's join your commentary team of Perry Groves and Nigel Adderley.
Thank you, Faye. And there don't look to be any changes to either side during half-time. Crewe were out very early. And I think Perry Groves, that's maybe symptomatic of what Lee Bella said to them after the first half.
Well, you might think it'd be the proverbial hairdryer, and it's probably actually warmer out on the pitch than what would be in Crewe's changing room. But you say they were out early because I think Lee Bell would be really disappointed. Crewe had about 5 minutes, sort of 3/4 way through the first half, where they threatened, where Elliot Nevitt had his shot, which was a good save from Corey Dyer. Apart from that, it was all Crawley. Crawley completely dominated, had 70% possession, more of a threat going forward. And the last thing you want as a player, Nigel, from Crewe's point of view, is coming off the pitch and thinking, we could have done a little bit more. We could have been a little bit more aggressive. They weren't aggressive enough in that first half.
Crewe in their red shirts, playing towards their supporters, all decked out in red. Around the goal away to our left. And there was a break in play. Dion Conroy, the captain of Crawley, is currently down injured and claiming he requires some treatment. So a reminder of the two teams again. Crewe, striking goal. A back four, Billington, Turns, Demetriou and Adebisi. Tavernier, Thomas, Tracy, Rowe and Long in midfield. Nevitt up front. And for Crawley, Adai in goal. Wright, Maguire and Conroy, the back three. Gordon, Kelly, Williams and Jeremy Kelly across the middle, with Lolos and Campbell in support of the goal scorer Orsi in attack. Crawley in all white, and they win a free kick inside their own half. Jay Williams shoved over by Tavernier. And the sun has left us momentarily here at Wembley, but the Crawley fans, many of whom are just filing back to their seats at the start of the second half, they'll feel confident, if you can feel confident in a playoff final, because they were the better team overall, and unlike many teams in playoffs over the years, when they've been good, they've got the goal.
Yeah, very much so. They're very good in possession. Liam Kelly was the one who started to dominate. And just looking at Crewe starting off, just Elliot Nevitt there, just left his elbow in Dion Conroy's right cheek. Just a little, when someone's just a little bit crafty, a little bit slippery. Obviously it wasn't enough for VAR to get involved, but you can tell straight away that.
Here is Gordon coming forward now for Crawley, crossing from the right hand side, headed away by Demetriou, nodded back inside by Campbell, headed further away by Tavernier. Crawley looked to win it back with Jeremy Kelly on the far side. Now Campbell again, finding Lolos, and the Greek can spread it wide to Gordon on this near side, looking to attack Adebisi. Gordon's cross spins high off Adebisi towards the Crawley fans behind that goal, and their team have a corner.
I mean, look at that. Kaladi Lolos has actually passed to Callum Gordon on his right hand side. You can tell at half time Scott Lindsay, the Crawley manager, said get it out your feet, get it to the right hand side. He's done that more in this first 2 minutes of the second half than what he did in the whole of the first half. And to be fair to Callum Gordon, the first cross was a really good one into the 18-yard box, but Daniele Orsi was the only Crawley player in the box, and it come back out to him, tried to get his cross away. Rio Adebisi gets his block in, and corner for Crawley on their right hand side.
And Will Wright will play it short to Campbell. Now Gordon skips in the cross from the right hand side, headed away at the near post. But Crawley at the moment are playing much the better football. Crewe have the footballing reputation, but in the warm temperatures they are frozen so far in the game. Jeremy Kelly looks to clip the ball into the penalty area on this near side, but he's lost out to Adderley. And now Rowe will bring it forward for Crewe, but the ball was behind Nevitt, who will gamely turn and chase after it. But that's the problem for them. If they're not precise into the feet of Nevitt, if it goes awry, there is no other option going forward for Crewe at the moment.
Nigel, not being funny, you could have made that pass. Owen Rowe did brilliantly just to get himself into the centre circle. Good feet. All he's got to do is roll it, 15 yards into Elliot Nevitt? Just roll it into his feet. He's missed him by 4. And again, just relinquishing possession, then you can't get any momentum, you can't get any pressure, and give the ball back to Crawley with a throwing over on their left-hand side.
Crewe won both of the league meetings this season, but at the moment they will be the 4th team in League 2 playoff history to have doubled opponents and then lost. But a long time to go. 4 minutes into the second half as Chris Long tries to come forward on this near side, levered off the ball by Will Wright, and in the end Conroy will play it back towards Adai, who hammers the ball long downfield for Crawley, wearing all white and playing from left to right as we look out from our commentary position here at Wembley in the second half. Now Nevitt tries to flick the ball on again, but the flag is raised for offside, and Crawley will have a free kick. And already in the early stages of the second half, they're just trying to manage the clock here and linger over the restarts and hold on to their 1-0 lead.
Well, you can tell that Crewe have come out, and Lee Bell, the Crewe manager, has asked them to be on the front foot. Ball just broke to Chris Long there on this left-hand side. Just got it out of his feet, thought he was going to take on Will Wright for pace. To be fair to Will Wright, he channeled his inner Mickey van der Ven and just went into overdrive, just shouldered him off the ball, rolled it back to Corey Adai.
So many of these players signed from clubs under the radar. Lawrence Maguire on loan from Chesterfield. They'll be back in the league next season. Dion Conroy following Scott Lindsay from Swindon. Liam Kelly relegated out of the Football League with Rochdale last season, but he's been the best player on the field so far today, along with Adam Campbell, who lost the FA Trophy final here to Halifax Town with Gateshead last season. But now Crawley make a mistake, and here is Chris Long clean through, taken down by Adai, and a penalty kick has been given to Crewe, and Adai could be in real trouble here. The Crawley goalkeeper is shown the yellow card. Well, the Crawley players are calling for VAR, but a penalty has been given, and one mistake may have turned this playoff final. Chris Long sprinting clear, Adai bringing him down. It's a yellow card for the goalkeeper, but the question is, was there contact, and will this be given as a penalty?
That's such bad play from Adam Campbell, just giving the ball away, just trying to go back to Adai, and then it's Chris Long in acres of space.
I don't think there was contact there.
Well, Chris Long tries to go on the outside of Corey Adai. Corey Adai actually goes with his right foot, and as Chris Long just gets it on the outside of him, it's a touch of the ball. I think Corey Adai has actually taken the ball with the edge of his right
drama.
foot.
Ben Toner is heading across to the screen on the far side.
It'll be overturned, Nigel, because Corey Adai, as he's stretched, he's taken the ball with the like an Inspector Gadget leg with his right big toe. He's touched the ball first, then Long's gone over him. This will be definitely overturned.
Well, Ben Toner has headed across. There are no fans around him. It's the area of the ground not sold by Crewe, so Ben Toner just waves away one or two Crawley players. They were adamant it wasn't a penalty. They were calling for the screen, and he's watching the replay. We're watching now just to see, and clearly Adai got the ball. So was it a dive by Chris Long?
Well, with Chris Long, he thinks he's going to get contact from Adai, and then there's a little contact on the knee, but that's after the ball. That's after Corey Adai has taken the ball with his right foot, and this will be overturned.
No penalty. Ben Toner has overturned the penalty decision. And Chris Long, who went down under the challenge of Adai, is being called across towards the referee. Presumably Corey Adai's yellow card will now be cancelled. That's been cancelled as well. It will be a corner kick. Chris Long is being called across to the referee by Ben Toner. And now the referee is explaining to the Crewe players that he won the ball, and a corner kick has been given. And Crewe here have the opportunity to keep the pressure on, but has the referee given a corner kick? No, he hasn't. Well, there clearly seemed to be contact there from Adai as he won that ball. So if he doesn't think there was contact...
No, but Adai actually won the ball. He won the ball with his right big toe. So he's the last person, unless the referee then thinks it's ricocheted back off Chris Long and gone off for a goal kick. But I've got to say, I'm not a big fan of VAR, Nigel, but they've got that 100% right. So Michael Salisbury, who is the VAR, quite right, you can understand why Ben Toner referee gave the initial penalty, but then when he's had to look at it, 100%, it's really good goalkeeping from Corey Adai actually, because he keeps his eye on the ball and he gets his right foot to it and then Long goes over. So that is the right outcome, 100%.
But it should have been a corner.
Should have been a corner. I don't understand why that's not a corner.
Well, there's some relief, I'm sure, for Adam Campbell. He's now coming off to be replaced by Ronan Darcy, who scored in the first leg of the semi-final. So Darcy will come on and take his place in midfield. Another player who followed Scott Lindsay from Swindon. And Adai will now gather the ball. And he was adamant, and then Nevitt just had a nibble at him as Adai looked to play the ball away there on the far side. So Crewe thought they had a penalty. But in the end, VAR intervened. Michael Salisbury and the on-field referee Ben Toner came to the right decision.
100%, and there was a big laugh and a joke and a hug between Scott Lindsay and Adam Campbell when Adam Campbell obviously got the hook. I don't think that would have happened if the penalty would have been given. It might not have been probably like a 1,000-yard stare.
Now Long has gone down, and this time he has got the free kick, conceded by Darcy. 10 minutes played in what's been a dramatic start to the second half, but it's still Crawley 1, Crewe 0. As the free kick again from Crewe is wasted. Their set pieces have been dreadful so far. It was way overhit by Tabernier, straight out of play for a throw-in.
Yeah, it's just been a lack of quality from Crewe, and you wouldn't say that. We mentioned before, didn't we, about the history of their academies and producing all the homegrown players who are known to be very, very good technical players. Obviously, we've got Talksport Danny Murphy, who started at Crewe, Dean Ashton, very good technically. There's been nothing technical about this Crewe team here today because they haven't been able to pass water.
All the football has been played by Crawley so far. Crewe were promoted 2 years ago via points per game. But when they have to win promotion on the field of play, it's a different story as Stryek dallies over a back pass now, almost has it robbed by Orsi. Orsi's been penalised for challenging Stryek, but at the moment Crewe have their brains scrambled. They thought they had a penalty, it's been taken away, and they are making mistakes all over the field.
Well, Max Stryke gets himself caught in about 5 minds there because the ball is just played back to him from Lewis Billington, and then Orsi goes to close him down. I think Dimitri's got to do better because Dimitri can actually block that avenue off to stop Daniel Orsi close him down, and the ball gets stuck underneath Max Stryek's feet. Can't get it out of his seat. Lucky enough, he gets it onto his right foot, and in the end, Orsi gives him a little push. Referee Ben Toner gives the free kick.
Rowe, the only player booked so far for Crewe, plays it back towards Stryek in the shadows on the far side. You're listening to Crewe against Crawley in the EFL League 2 playoff final on Talksport 2 with McDonald's. Order McDelivery on the McDonald's app and get tasty reward points. 18 plus, terms and conditions apply.
Which just shows you, Nigel, when you're in total control of the game, one lapse momentary of concentration, which was from Adam Campbell, was a really sloppy back pass.
Well, Long really should have scored, but now Gordon has been caught late by Adebisi, but Darcy will bring it forward now for Crawley, wearing number 10. Cuts in field from the right-hand side, plays it all the way back towards Maguire. Now the space for Williams, wide to Gordon on this near side, the Crawley right. He will look to take on Adebisi and hit the byline. Drives in the cross, deflected off Adebisi in towards the side netting, and it will be a corner kick.
Yes, but a feature of Crawley's plan this second half, I mentioned in the first half that Callum Gordon got himself in good positions, ignored by Gladi Lolos. This time, make sure it comes from Lewis Billington out to Callum Gordon. He goes 1v1 with Ruud Adebisi, tries to go on the outside of him. Adebisi gets the block in, goes for a corner for Crawley on their right hand side.
And Will Wright has come across to take it. Liam Kelly has come as the short option. Darcy makes the run towards the near post. A second goal now, and it's surely all over. Wright is claiming the Crewe players aren't the requisite distance, but it's played short to Liam Kelly. High ball swung towards the far post, nodded down. Kellen Gordon looks to win it back deep inside the penalty area. Fires in the shot, beaten away by Stryjek and cleared away almost on the goal line. Almost a second goal there for Crawley.
Really good save from Max Stryjek. Callum Gordon does brilliantly, just gets to the knockdown, makes sure he gets it before Connor Thomas just toe pokes it away with his right foot. Is up, right foot half volley, tries to smash it across Max Stryjek. Good save, full length from Max Stryjek, and there's no one there to tap in the rebound.
Crawley looking for the second goal here with nearly an hour played on Talksport 2. Already a goal up. Gordon coming forward again. Another early cross into the penalty area, almost controlled by Lolos. Allsey unable to gather. But here is Darcy now on the edge of the penalty area, wide towards Kellen Gordon again. He's had the beating of Adebisi in the second half. Another cross high into the penalty area, and this time is claimed by Stryjek.
Yeah, good play from Kellen Gordon again on this right hand side. Rio Adebisi's got to be careful. Nigel picked up a yellow card for a foul earlier in one of Crawley's moves. So now all you want to do if you're Crawley's, you're feeding out to Kellen Gordon, just make sure he goes 1v1 with Rio Adebisi, because he's got one more foul in him.
Now Rowe coming forward for Crewe, back towards Thomas. Can Crewe really raise themselves here from their stupor? It's wide to this near side, but Tavernier is closed down by Williams. And once again, as we saw in the two games against MK Dons, Jay Williams does not stop running. The player signed from Brackley in the 6th tier, and he is making the most of his opportunity on the grander stage here today. Thomas plays it forward for Crewe. Infield to Tracy, and now wide to Rowe, but they're very narrow on the right-hand side. Rowe digs out the shot, but it's blocked on the edge of the penalty area by Maguire. And Darcy will try and bring it forward now for Crawley, breaking over the halfway line down the left. He's got support from Jeremy Kelly, who made the burst forward, then has to check to stay onside. And the American now receives it. But most of the oomph has now gone from this counter-attack from Crawley. But Liam Kelly plays it wide to Jeremy Kelly again. We've seen that link up on a number of occasions in the game for Crawley, and it's been very effective for them.
Well, they are Kelly, believing they can fly down that right-hand side.
We'll let that one go. Here is Gordon coming forward now, challenged by Adebisi. Did well to win the ball, and it will be a throw-in on this near side.
To be fair, Nigel, since Darcy's come on, he's playing sort of on this right-hand side behind Daniel Orsi. He's been very lively. He's got himself on the ball, made sure that he's kept possession, just taking the sting out of Crewe's forward play.
Now Darcy back towards Liam Kelly. Crewe a goal down, have everybody back behind the ball here, incredibly deep, so there is no out ball for them. But in the end, Crawley go all the way back to their goalkeeper Corey Adai, who with 50 yards out of his goal, close to the halfway line. Courtney Baker-Richardson will be coming on shortly for Crewe, along with Josh Austerfield. Well, Baker-Richardson could play alongside Nevitt in the front two, and Austerfield, one of two players in the squad today, on loan from Huddersfield, who could be facing Crewe next season, although that seems a long way off at the moment. 63 minutes played, it is still 1-0 to Crawley here, and good value for it on Talksport 2. Liam Kelly down the line for Gordon, clipped infield again for Darcy, but a Crewe player went down. Adebisi off the ball. The free kick's been given. It's quickly fizzed wide towards Long, who was involved in the non-penalty incident. Back to Tavernier. His ball forward, though, doesn't pick out Nevitt. Liam Kelly tangling with Connor Thomas. Both players went down initially, but Ben Tony, the referee, allows play to continue. Billington brings it forward on the far side. Infield to Thomas on the edge of the Crawley penalty area. But again, the first time ball doesn't find Nevitt, who throws up his arms in frustration. And really, you can understand that. Adebisi, though, for Crewe down the left. High cross beyond the far post, straight out of play. It's a goal kick.
Yeah, it's just a poor cross there from Adebisi, getting onto his left foot, just trying to feed it into the 18-yard box. Just needs a little 9-iron to dink it in. He's got his 3-iron out of his bag and just smashed it out of play. Goes out for a goal kick for Crawley.
Here are the changes for Crewe. Shido Tracy coming off, and Courtney Baker-Richardson will come on. 10 goals so far this season. He's been a very effective partner for Elliot Nevitt. And Connor Thomas will come off from midfield, and Josh Austerfield, on loan from Huddersfield, will replace him. And Adi Adeyemo will come on for Crawley, and he will replace Kellen Gordon. Down the right-hand side, Adeyemo signed from Crewe Valley Paper Mills, who picked up a notable draw against Charlton in the first round of the FA Cup this season, but they are way down the non-league pyramid. But Crawley have shopped in all areas outside the Football League to build this team, and Adeyemo now gets his opportunity at Wembley with 65 minutes played and his team inching towards promotion.
That's surprising. I just wonder if Callum Gordon's maybe carrying a bit of injury. Nigel, he wasn't 100% fit, because he's been really productive down this right-hand side in the second half, getting more of the ball, which he was starved of it in the first half because he was the spare man. So Adeyemo will come on, just a like for like. Obviously, give him some fresh legs down this right-hand side.
Crawley look to play out once again. Williams lays it back to Conroy. And Crewe have made the change with Baker-Richardson alongside Nevitt, and Austerfield playing just behind them, but Maguire now brings it forward on the far side into the shadows for Crawley and Jeremy Kelly. Williams again, and the American Kelly is allowed to turn, tries to find Lolos, and then Kelly continues, and he was dragged down on the edge of the penalty area, and it will be a free kick here in a decent area, and another yellow card is shown to a Crewe player, Joel Tavernier.
Yeah, just a bit of frustration for Joel Tavernier there. Jeremy Kelly just playing a little 1-2 with Daniel Orsi, just getting in front of Tavernier. Tavernier just putting his arm around his midriff and dragging him back, and quite rightly Ben Turner, the referee, has given a yellow card to Joel Tavernier.
Third Crewe yellow card on a day when nothing has gone right for the Railway men so far. 66 minutes played, Crawley leading by a 1-0. But Scott Lindsay will know they need that second goal. They almost gifted Crewe the opportunity to equalise, and they can't afford to do that again. Liam Kelly with the free kick in, looking for Maguire, headed away on the edge of the 6-yard area. Adeyemo brings it down, left foot shot from him, a real swinger high over the top.
Yeah, good delivery from Liam Kelly, just bending it with his right foot, just asking questions of the Crewe centre halves. Good defensive header from Ed Turns, just make sure he got to the edge of the box, come back to Adeyemo, got into his left foot and completely skied it over Strayek's crossbar.
At the end of this game, we'll be building up to our Premier League commentary on Talksport 2. Sheffield United against Spurs on the final day of the season, with Joe Shannon and Scott Minto at Bramwell Lane over on Talksport. The programme with Adrian Durham comes live from the Etihad. Manchester City looking to clinch their 4th successive title with the win at home to West Ham. We have Arsenal against Everton on Talksport with Sam Matterface and Darren Bent. And on the Talksport app, Liverpool against Wolves, Brighton against Manchester United, Brentford against Newcastle, and Luton against Fulham. Download the Talksport app and you can follow all of those games at 4 o'clock. And the game day phone in with Jamie O'Hara and Gabby Bonlahor will take your calls from 6:30, and then Trans Europe Express with Danny Kelly, rounding up all of the European action at the end of the season by Leverkusen, invincible in Germany. And that's at 9 o'clock here on the Talksport network. Here at Wembley, Crawley are 22 minutes away from promotion, leading Crewe by a 1-0. Another bad back pass though, this time from Jay Williams, and Baker-Richardson tried to measure the cross into the path of Nevitt, and it's cleared away on this near side by Conroy, who just tells his teammates to calm down.
Yeah, just a little bit of nervousness creeping in. Said a bad back pass from Jay Williams. Ball come out to Baker-Richardson. on this left-hand side, got to the byline, and he's got to be scooping it with his right foot to the far post, just hits it to the near post. Easy clearance from Conroy at the near post.
Just in front of us, Demetriou shaping up for a long throw. Bit of swaz on that towards the near post, flicked on by Crawley head. Cleared out to Austerfield on the edge of the penalty area. Square towards Rowe. Low crossing from him is blocked on the edge of the box, and Crawley will try and clear, but Austerfield wins it back. But then Orsey robs him, and Liam Kelly can break forward now for Crawley. Wide on the left-hand side. Darcy's alongside him. Kelly continues. Here is Darcy now, edge of the penalty area. Oh, the right foot shot ballooned high over the top. It was deflected over by Demetriou, and it will be a corner, but on the break, Crawley looking a threat.
Yeah, just really bad play from Austerfield, getting himself caught in possession by Orsey. Orsey just then gives it on to Liam Kelly. Liam Kelly just drives at the Crewe centre halves, and it's just, I think his pass to his right hand side, Nigel, was just a little bit too strong. Just as it comes out to Connolly on this right hand side, just can't get his shot away.
Will Wright will take the corner kick here for Crawley. 20 minutes to play. They lead by a goal to nil. Wright, an outswinger high into the 6-yard area, headed away by Baker Richardson. Scooped forward again by Jeremy Kelly towards the edge of the penalty area, nodded down to Jay Williams. A header wide from him towards Liam Kelly. Back towards Jeremy Kelly on the far side, the left. Liam Kelly again, finding Williams. And Crawley here just looking to play keep ball and try and draw Crewe out. As Will Wright lofts it over the top for Lolos inside the penalty area, and he's onside, onto the byline, down the right, back to Adiemo, slipped in by Kelly towards Adiemo, but a crucial Crewe deflection from Tavernier allows them to clear, but the ball will come straight back.
Yeah, Crewe just can't get the ball, can't keep it, keep giving it away. Crawley very good in possession. Said Darcy coming on, is making himself really busy.
Adiemo infield towards Darcy again, square to Lolos on the edge of the penalty area, goes further wide towards the far side, back infield to Darcy on the edge of the penalty area. Maguire on towards Lolos, and the curler from Darcy is over the top. And Crawley here, no, they're so close to a second goal, but at the moment it won't come.
Yeah, at the moment Crawley are just toying with Crewe. It's like a cat with a ball of wool, just playing with them. Great little give and go with Maguire. Then it comes out to Darcy. Darcy gets the ball, just gets it onto his right foot. He can't quite get his right foot around it. Great little layoff from Lolos. Just invites Darcy, hit it first time. He's trying to bend it in strikes top left-hand corner. Just can't get the whip and the bend on it.
And there will be another cooling break here on Talksport 2 with 19 minutes to play at Wembley. Crawley 1, Crewe 0 in the League 2 playoff final here on the home of the EFL, Talksport 2. And Mickey Demetriou has been having words with Ben Toner, the referee, because a few moments ago, you may have noticed, Perry, as you're a fan of housery, he was looking to take a quick long throw into the penalty area, and a Crawley sub timed his warm-up run right in front of him just as he was looking to throw the ball in.
That's accidental. I think just no vision from the Crawley sub, you know what I mean? I'm all for it. It's professional sport. You try and push the envelope, get as far as way you can with anything you can get away with.
On our monitors here, we're watching the replay of the overturned penalty, and Corey Adai had words with Chris Long in the aftermath, and Adai's yellow card was called off as Lewis Lee will be coming on shortly for Crewe. He scored in the shootout victory, but did Chris Long dive? There was no yellow card for him.
I think Chris Long was expecting contact. Obviously, as Corey Adai came out leading with his legs, and I don't think that's a dive. I think there was contact afterwards. He was waiting for the follow through, but it was brilliant goalkeeping from Corey Adai, because his timing, when you're going to go obviously feet first, you've got to make sure your timing is spot on. And to be fair, in real time, now you can understand why the referee Ben Toner gave the penalty, because we thought from where we are, we've got to review it, it was a penalty. And VAR, I'm not a big fan, but it's worked absolutely perfectly. And I think all the Crawley fans will be massive. They'll be singing VAR if this stays at 1-0 in all the pubs around Crawley tonight.
Well, Chris Long is now coming off to be replaced by Charlie Kirk. In his second spell now with Crewe, he's returned from Charlton. And The other change sees Joel Taberner coming off, and Lewis Lee on loan from Preston, who was with Bromley until January, so he's looking for some sort of promotion double out on loan this season. Bromley, of course, promoted into the Football League in a playoff here. 20 years of age, he's come on for the remainder of 90 minutes here. And Long and Tabernier have both failed to sparkle in Crewe's midfield, but they're not alone in that. At the moment, for Crewe today, you can read Bolton yesterday, because they're another team who have come in possibly as the favourites, although this game's more 50-50 than yesterday, but they just haven't done it so far.
No, they haven't been at the races whatsoever. Now, Lee Bell, the Crewe manager, he's gone all in. Basically, he's gone 4 up front with Baker Richardson through the middle with Nevitt. Aaron Rowe's gone over to the right-hand side, and it looks like Charlie Kirk will come over on this left-hand side. So with 15 minutes of normal time to go, plus obviously a bit of added-on time at the end, can Crewe pull something out the bag? Because at the moment, Nigel, apart from the only chance of adding this second half was from that really, really sloppy pass from Adam Campbell, which let Chris Long go 1v1 with Corey Adderley, and the penalty was quite rightly overturned.
Well, Charlie Kirk hasn't scored since February of last year, 2023. Hasn't scored for Crewe since April of 2021 when he moved on. But he did once score in a 6-1 victory for Crewe against Crawley during his first spell. Came through the academy at Gresty Road. And Crewe in the main have enjoyed a great record against Crawley. Of course, they've only been in direct opposition for just over a decade, but Crewe have only lost 3 times in 20 games, but they're losing here today in the game that really matters, the playoff final.
Well, I think last 7 games, Crewe won 6 of them, hadn't they, and drawn the other, won both games this season in League 2. But as you said before the game, Nige, those 2 games count for absolutely diddly squat when you come into a one-off game. And it's Crawley who have turned up at the moment and have done themselves justice, and Crewe, Alexandra haven't.
Well, Crewe ended the season with only 4 goals in 9 games. 3 wins in 14 overall. Of course, they managed to produce that performance from nowhere in the second leg at Doncaster, but really they reverted to late season type here as another long throw from Dimitriou wings its way into the penalty area, but Crawley are able to clear the ball away fairly comfortably again. 13 minutes to play on Talksport 2. Crawley 1, Crewe 0 in the League 2 playoff final here at the sun-drenched Wembley. Energy sapping conditions, but Crawley at the moment have a spring in their step as Lolos brings it forward again. Looks towards this near side than Adiemo, checks back and has given the ball away, but it's won back by the hard-running Darcy. On this near side, Darcy back to the halfway line and right. Good ball in field towards Williams. And the midfield engine for Crawley has been excellent. Liam Kelly, Jay Williams. And there's an opportunity for Jeremy Kelly to bring the ball into the penalty area. Scoops a ball high to the far post. There was no one there in either a white or a red shirt. Here is Darcy, though, for Crawley. Plays a 1-2. Liam Kelly spins into the penalty area and opens up for the shot. Brilliant save by Stryjek. That is a season-saving save from Max Stryjek there to leap and turn that shot from Liam Kelly over the top.
I think Osterfield's got to play to get back into the stadium, because when the ball's come into him, into Liam Kelly from Darcy, he's just given him a little turn with his left shoulder, got himself into the right-hand side of the 18-yard box, and maybe he should be going across Max Stryjek in the Crewe goal. Just tries to smash it into his top left-hand corner. He said there, Nigel, really good save from Stryjek, full length with his left palm, corner for Crawley on this right-hand side.
Will Wright will take it again. An outswinger high to the edge of the 6-yard area, headed away, and Aaron Rowe can bring the ball forward now for Crewe on the counter-attack. Kirk peels away to the far side, but the crossfield ball is blocked, and here is Lolos now for Crawley coming forward. Maguire in space to his left, but Lolos continues deep into the penalty area. Now finds Maguire, cut back towards Liam Kelly again, drives towards the 6-yard area, back towards Maguire. The cross in is deflected and it's behind for a corner, and it's all Crawley here as we head towards the final 10 minutes. A goal up, looking to seal things.
Yeah, it's Liam Kelly again starting to pull all the strings on the left-hand side. The penalty box this time just rolls it back to Lawrence Maguire. He just tries to get his cross in. In the end, it was good defensive play from Aaron Rowe. Just make sure he gets the block in. Corner for Crawley over on the left-hand side. Crawley just starting to ramp up the pressure, seeing if they can get this game-winning and game-finishing second goal.
Matas Holacek, a teenage Slovak, will be the final card for Crewe shortly. Corner for Crawley first, though, on the far side. Right with an in-swinger towards the edge of the 6-yard area. Sliced high in the air by Lee. And Crewe will eventually clear, but quickly won back by Adeyemo. He lobs it forward, but he was caught late in the challenge by Dimitriou, and it will be a Crawley free kick.
Yeah, just studs up there from Dimitriou. Adeyemo just trying to help the ball on. But to be fair, Adeyemo knew that Dimitriou was coming in. He had a sense on his left-hand side that he was going to put his foot up, and he made sure that as he's volleyed the ball, he just pulled his foot away. Benton referee just gives a free kick. No further punishment.
10 minutes to play. The conclusion of the Premier League season coming up across the Talksport network, but the end of the League 2 season being decided here as the free kick from right is headed away by Baker Richardson. Knocked back into the penalty area. Orsi turns, fires the ball in. It was turned over the top by Strike, but a free kick had already been given.
Yeah, I think it was just a little shove by Daniel Orsi. Quite rightly, the referee just spotting the foul, just trying to edge Lewis Lee off the ball.
Change for Crewe, and it's Lewis Billington who is coming off. And a 20-year-old replaced by a 19-year-old with time running out to save the season.
Yeah, it's just another positive move there from Lee Bell, defender off from midfield player. Good to see where Holacek plays.
But he's gone on to the right-hand side of midfield. So it looks like a back three now for Crewe, with Adebisi tucking around alongside Turns and Dimitriou. With Holacek playing as the wing-back, with Kirk further forward. Rowe out on the right, with Nevitt and Baker Richardson down the centre. Now Will Wright turning away from Holacek, finding Adeyemo. Good challenge though coming in from Lee, but Adeyemo wins it back, but then Lee was tenacious in the challenge as well. Here's the fair-haired Kirk. Adeyemo left something on him which Kirk didn't appreciate, but Crewe still looking to build here. They're looking to find their momentum, find their rhythm, and the first 80 minutes of the game have rather passed them by.
Yeah, but the Crawley players just quicker to the ball. We just said Adeyemo there and Darcy, two substitutes for Crewe coming on this right-hand side. They've been absolutely outstanding. Ronan Darcy, especially when you want that little bit of energy, the extra legs. He's made sure he's getting himself on the ball. He's kept his shape defensively. And Adeyemo's given Crawley a little bit of more athleticism down this right-hand side.
But there's still time for Crewe. It's only 1-0. Turns wide to the far side. And Rowe, he comes in field towards the edge of the penalty area. Fires in a shot. Catches Maguire full in the face. Almost knocks him off his feet. But it's a throw-in to Crewe on the far side with 8 minutes to play, and their fans belatedly find their voices.
Yeah, Aaron Rowe said playing on that right hand side now, just a couple of foot overs, gets the ball onto his left foot, tries to whip it in with a little bit of place. Really good defensive play from Lawrence Maguire, heads the ball out. Another long throw coming in from Crewe on their right hand side.
Throw in from Dimitriou, headed away at the near post. Austerfield wide towards Dimitriou again. Is he about to suffer a third playoff final defeat in 5 years at Wembley?
The thing is, it's a bit of a shame for Crewe because Dimitriou has got the long throw, but if there's one player you want in the box with his aerial strength, it would be Dimitriou.
But here is Dimitriou now on the ground, finding Austerfield. Square towards Kirk. High stab ball to the far post. Knotted down by Dimitriou. And it's blocked at the near post by Adai. And he clings on, and the veteran almost saved them there.
Well, it's a great little ball from Willie Kirk from that left hand inside left channel. Just easing the ball back into the box. Dimitri, false nose and glasses, just in disguise, just comes on the far post, and I think he should be trying to head the ball back across the goal. In the end, he tries to beat Corey Adai at his near post. Corey Adai stays nice and big, just goes straight into his midriff. Simple save in the end.
Jeff Stelling and Ali McCoy will be looking back on all of the Premier League action and the action here on Talksport Breakfast tomorrow from 6. Phil Thompson among their guests, as Darcy comes forward now on this near side for Crawley, leading by a 0 with 6 minutes to play. Carlisle equalised very late in the final last year against Stockport and then won the shootout. And while it's 1-0, there is always an opportunity. But here is Kelly now inside the penalty area. Looks to square it low. The first shot is blocked, but the second one is in. And Liam Kelly seals promotion for Crawley Town. The most unlikely of successes in many ways. But the fans who've travelled up from Sussex can celebrate here at Wembley. Everyone thought they would go down, but in the end, Crawley are going up 2-0.
What a ball from Dion Connolly, the Crawley centre-half. If anything gives you a marker of the way that Crawley like to play, they like to construct their goals, that is exactly it. It's a defence-beating pass from Dion Connolly, releases Liam Kelly in the left-hand side of the 18-yard box. First shot gets blocked at the near post, then you think, what's he going to do? Is he going to dink it up to the far post? He's got the vision, he's got the quality and the technique actually to whip it into the near post. Pass straight, gives him absolutely no chance whatsoever. Fantastic team goal from Crawley Town to put them 2-0 up. Brilliant finish from that man Liam Kelly, who's been the best player on the park. Makes the game safe for Crawley.
Well, he suffered relegation out of the Football League with Rochdale last season, but Liam Kelly here has sealed promotion for Crawley Town.
It's a brilliant ball, I said, from Dion Connolly. It takes 5 Crewe players out of the game. Just spits it down that left-hand side. First of all, Liam Kelly tries to get his cross in. It's blocked at the near post by Dimitri, and because Max Stryak is gone for the cross, he's come out to the 6-yard box because he thinks the cross is going to come across the 6-yard box. Comes back to Liam Kelly. Can he have the composure just to whip it into and empty it at near post? Yes, he can. Crawley, game done and dusted, and it's no more than they deserve.
Well, Crewe fans are leaving in their droves. 5 minutes to play. Crawley 2, Crewe 0. And yet again, 7th place is going to win in the League 2 playoffs. This will be the 7th time that 7th has been successful in 19 years. It's not how you start the season, it's how you finish.
Yeah, well, obviously, we said about the momentum from Crawley Town coming into the playoff final. Won their last 3 on the trot, absolutely battering MK Dons, obviously 8-1 on aggregate. So they had the momentum, they had the form, where Crewe was stuttering towards the end of the season, and is exactly how it's panned out in front of us, Nigel.
Well, Crawley in many ways have been as dominant here as they were against MK Dons. They haven't got the goals, but in terms of a game plan and a way of nullifying the opposition and also having a threat at the other end, this has been Scott Lindsay's perfect day, because his team have been brilliant.
Absolutely. They've been brave. They've been brave on the ball. They obviously got away with one with the VAR call when Bentona, the referee, gave a penalty for and he thought was a foul by Corey Adderley on Chris Long. VAR came to Crawley's rescue quite rightly.
They'll be very grateful there's one game of VAR in League 2
yeah,
every
but
season.
yeah, well, to be fair, as we hope that then the Crawley fans don't, call for VAR right through the pyramid, which obviously
nobody wants it unless it goes for you like that.
Exactly, and it is the right decision. And in a final like this, obviously, which is a big bearing on both clubs' futures, the right decision has been got to. So you have to just take your hat off to Michael Salisbury. That's where it should intervene, when something is clear and obvious, and that was clear and obvious.
Well, Dimitri has been pushed forward now as an extra centre forward for Crewe. Pretty soon they'll be calling on Dean Ashton to throw on, as it's cleared away up towards the halfway line. And Crawley are looking to break here. They're full of confidence, leading by 2-0 with 2 minutes to play. And they've come into the playoffs, their first ever playoffs, and they have scored 12 goals in 3 games. And really, the way they've dismantled Crewe really has been something to admire. A crowd of over 33,000 here today. And when you consider that Crawley average around 3,500 and Crewe just over 5,000, that's a pretty good effort from both sets of supporters. But there are more Crawley fans here, and it will be a very happy journey back down to Sussex. Adderley unable to control, and it goes behind, and it will be a goal kick. Strajek with the hurry up, but he's been the busier of the 2 goalkeepers, even in the second half when Crewe needed to come on strong.
Yeah, they say Crewe have been disjointed, didn't really have any belief. I know that the Crewe manager Lee Bell sort of went all in as a poker player and went 4 up front to see if he can try and change the game. But you have to say, even the managerial level, that Scott Lindsay's got everything absolutely spot on. Even his substitutions when he needed fresh legs, with Adeyemi coming on the right-hand side for Callum Gordon, and especially Ronan Darcy, I thought has been absolutely outstanding in the time that he's been on the pitch. Fresh legs, impetus, energy. But the one player on the pitch who's been the best player on the pitch by a country mile has been Liam Kelly. Got a goal and an assist.
And 2 Cypriots are about to come on for Crawley. Jack Rolls and Nick Sarula. And it's weather which would not shame Cyprus here today. Clear blue skies, warm sunshine. Perfect day to be a Crawley fan, and there will be a minimum of 10 more minutes.
Well, that's the biggest cheer I think we've had from the Crewe Alexandra fans, because obviously they was looking maybe it was going to be like 4 or 5.
Well, there's a high ball played into the penalty area from Kirk, and it's claimed by Corey Adai. He's made the saves when he's had to, notably to keep out Chris Long.
There's another player you need to be nigh on perfect when you're in for a massive game like that, is your goalkeeper. And I think he just gives his back 3, Corey Adai, just gives him confidence, Nigel, doesn't he? When you've got a 6'6", 6'7" goalkeeper behind you, comes and just picks crosses out the air like he's taking apples off a tree. He's got a presence about him. He's very good with the ball at his feet. And you said there, when he was called upon to make that one massive save to get his teammate Adam Campbell out of trouble, is exactly what he did.
Now Orsi just robbed by Rowe, and all of the stewards are beginning to start to ring the stadium, and they are sorting out the area for the presentation away to our right, which tells you we are inching towards full time here. As a high ball is played forward, Adeyemi miskicks across his own penalty area, but it's Williams who clears away, and he waves his teammates forward. And Jay Williams has been another player who has had the game of his life here today. Now Kirk infield towards Lee, and too many Crewe players are receiving the ball, then looking up, arms outstretched, looking for options. But here is Kirk with a cross into the penalty area, having been played in behind down the left, and he overhits it, and it's behind for a goal kick.
Charlie Kirk gets himself away on the left-hand side, little 1-2 with Dimitru, and I was looking at him there, and I think, don't you dare look down at the floor and you think that there's a divot that's popped up, so you blame your bad cross, because unless there's a mole's popped his head up, or one of the sprinkler heads has come up, you don't get divots on today's modern pitches. That just about sums up Crewe. Just poor quality on the ball, poor decision making. Kirk just snap hooks the ball behind the goal, takes all the pressure off the Crawley back 3, and then they can try and wind the clock down by making the substitutions.
Kaladi Lolos and Jeremy Kelly are going off, and Jack Rolls and Nick Sarula will be coming on. 2 Cypriots, as we said. Rolls signed from Woking in the National League, and Sarula came through the academy at Brentford, and they're getting their time in the sunshine here at Wembley just before the end of the game, and they came on and helped to continue the demolition of MK Dons in the second leg of the semi-final.
Yeah, just looking at Kaladi Lolos there, just obviously giving a fist pump to the Crawley Town fans. He played better in the second half, actually. I thought his decision making in the first half was a bit poor, but in the second half he made sure he got the ball out to Callum Gordon on this right hand side, so he's put a good shift in for his team.
Dion Conroy's just been booked for time wasting. And he handed the ball to Corey Adai, who then walked right across his 18-yard area to spot up the goal kick. And the Crewe fans weren't too happy about that, but I think the ship has sailed for them as Liam Kelly plays it wide to the far side. Sarula just unable to gather, and it will be a throw-in. And we have 6.5 minutes of the 10 added minutes to play here, but Crawley look home and hosed, leading by 2-0.
Yeah, just very, very comfortable. Probably the 2-0 scoreline doesn't do Crawley Town justice for the domination that they've had.
But here is Kirk for Crewe down the left. 3 in the centre to try and pick out. He cuts in field, right-footed ball in, looking for Baker Richardson. Headed away though by Conroy. Holacek heads it back over the top. Dimitriou finds Baker Richardson, but in the end it's hammered away by Wright. Well, his brother's a TV star, but he is a star of the silver screen here today. But here is Kirk on the volley, and he got it all wrong for Crewe inside the penalty area, right-footed into the ground, and it bobbles into the arms of Adai.
Yeah, Ed Turns just feeding the ball into the 18-yard box from his right-hand side. You said there, comes out to Charlie Kirk as the ball drops out of the air. Just really poor technique, just snatches at the volley, just bounces aimlessly into Corey Adai's arms. And as a Crawley Town player, there's not many instances, Nigel, in your career where you can actually enjoy one of the biggest games of your life. So long as their concentration level stays very high, they can actually enjoy this last 3 or 4 minutes, as can the Crawley Town fans.
I was talking to somebody connected with Oxford last night, and they said something very similar. I sort of said congratulations, and they said the funny thing was, in the second half, we weren't nervous.
That's how much control you're in. You know, obviously, it was a fantastic performance from Oxford, especially from Josh Murphy, getting his 2 goals. Could have had 4 or 5 actually. He was that outstanding, and that's what you want. You want your big players to turn up. And the big players for Crawley Town have turned up today. No player from Crewe, Alexandra have turned up. If you look right through the centre of the pitch, from Corey Adai, the goal for Crawley, into Dion Connolly at centre half, all the way into Liam Kelly, who was said to have been outstanding in midfield, and Daniel Orsi up front, who got a fantastically well taken goal.
Adebisi with a throw in for Crewe on this near side, trying to find Dimitriou, but it's cleared away. Kirk plays it wide to the far side again, and Turns goes for goal, right-footed. I think he was caught as he hit it, but a goal kick's been given, and Ed Turns ending the game with a painful knock. We've got 4 minutes of added time to play, but Crewe look like a beaten side.
Yeah, there's just a little bit of desperation coming from Crewe now. He said coming into Ed Turns, obviously he's the Crewe centre half, just gets his right shot away. Just unfortunately for him, catches the Crawley Town player on the follow through, just a knee to knee.
Well, Crawley's Broadfield Stadium only holds 6,000. They are not a big club, but there'll be some sizable clubs in League One heading down to Sussex next season. It is going to be a great experience for them, whatever happens. As Crewe come forward now, a low ball in, looking for Baker Richardson, stabbed away by Conroy. One back by Lee. Lee's done well to evade Orsi. Plays it back towards Turns. Turns low in towards Lee again, but Kelly will make the challenge. And the Crawley fans already celebrating promotion here.
We're just looking at Crawley Town, who's gone in basically into a flat back 6. Nigel, where they're just defending on the edge of the 18-yard box. Just inviting Crewe onto them. Crewe just sort of loading balls into the box, but not with a lot of quality.
Kirk wide to this near side for Crewe, and Adebisi. He's another player who's not been able to show his quality, but the cross into the penalty area was over the head of Dimitriou and claimed by Adai.
Yeah, just Adebisi just cutting him from this left-hand side onto his right foot, just trying to feed the ball into the box. Just 2 straight, goes into Corridai's midriff, just throws himself on the floor as the modern-day goalkeeper does, obviously just to run the clock down.
And Adai with a monster clearance downfield, looking for Adiemo. Bounces all the way through to Orsi, who will try and roll the challenge of Austercliffe on this near side. Heading towards the corner flag, and that's where he'll try and stay. Orsi goes down, and in the end, a free kick's been given to Crewe, but I'm not really sure what for, but you rarely are in that sort of situation.
Yeah, I think it's just the referee, Bentona, just to calm the situation down a little bit through frayed tempers.
Well, Stryek looked to take the free kick very quickly, almost gifted it straight to a Crawley player, and bearing in mind he's the goalkeeper and he was stood by the corner flag, that could have been problematic, but I think the referee helped him out there.
Yeah, well, Daniel Orsi, again, just a bit of howlery, just making sure, quite rightly, getting himself in front of the free kick so he can't take it quickly.
Rowe almost robbed by rules on the far side, but Crewe still pushing here in the 99th minute at the end of this game. 2 goals down, another high cross in. Baker Richardson does well to jab out a telescopic leg and keep the ball in play, but he can't find a teammate. But here is Orsi for Crawley, holding the ball up on the halfway line. Darcy with a burst of energy down the right hand side, and he will continue. Orsi makes the break into the penalty area, but in the end Darcy will go back towards that same corner flag, and in the end the ball seemed to go out of play there. The Crawley fans were convinced, but Crewe win it back. Austerfield finding Rowe, and we are into the final minute of the 10 originally added on here.
Yeah, Jay Williams' last 10 minutes has just dropped back from Crawley into centre half position, just to Marshall. As I said, they've gone back to basing to flat back 6, so he's just making sure that he's got good communications with his fellow centre halves.
Well, Crewe have been flagged offside, and that may be the final action as far as they're concerned.
Well, just looking at the Crewe Alexandra players, Nigel's, a few of them on their haunches. Over on that far right hand side, Aaron Rose just gone down. A lot of Crewe Alexandra fans just making their way out from Wembley, which you can understand because they've made a massive effort to come here today. Obviously, come down from Crewe.
Early start as well.
And their team hasn't turned up. That's the worst thing that can happen after a game, where you come off the pitch and you think that I haven't given it everything that I can. So I'm pretty sure that Lee Bell, the Crewe Alexandra manager, will be very, very disappointed because they haven't been in the game. Not for, well, probably 5 minutes in halfway through the second half. Apart from that, it's been all Crewe.
Orsi now looking to break into the penalty area, and the shot is saved by Stryek, and he almost crowned it with a third goal. Now Stryek clears long downfield again. 2 Crawley players nearly collide, but it's all the way through to Corey Adai. He gathers the ball, and the full-time whistle goes. It took Crawley 128 years to get to Wembley, but when they got here, they have absolutely smashed it. A dominant performance to win promotion back to the 3rd tier. Crewe Alexandra never turned up. They had no answer, and Crawley, tipped for relegation, now have the sweet taste of promotion. A deserved victory by 2-0. Danilo Orsi and Liam Kelly, the 2 goal scorers. They travel from Sussex in their thousands, and for everybody concerned, it has been a day to remember for Crawley Town Football Club. They are promoted to League One.
Wow, congratulations to Crawley Town. Just watching the players on the bench waiting for the referee, Bentona, to put the whistle to his lips and blow the full time. They were poised and ready to pounce out of their seats and straight onto the pitch to celebrate with their teammates. Celebrations in the Royal Box as well from the co-owners, who've got such an interesting backstory. And just 18 months ago, as we discussed here on Talksport 2, the club were in disarray, and these fans, the 2,000 or so of them that turn up to Broadfield Stadium every single week, that's 10 times the amount that are here today at Wembley. Could this be what propels Crawley Town back to the good times again, Perry Groves?
Well, you can take today, obviously they're just going to make the most of it, and it's Wagme United, isn't it, who took over Crawley Town, and we're all going to make it. And to be fair, they've all made it today. So obviously they've got here in a really strange way. He said with having like 5 managers in sort of 9 months, and then appointing Scott Lindsay when they were looking like they were going to get relegated actually out of League 2. He settled everything down, and he said the club was a shambles, the club was a mess. needed more professionalism, and they handed it over to Scott Lindsay, the football side of it, and said, right, you've got a game plan, you've got a philosophy, we'll go your blueprint. And boy, has he delivered.
And I tell you what, that takes a lot of balls to do that, to actually say, do you know what, no ego, we've got this massively, massively wrong. And they admitted, the co-owners, Preston Johnson and Eben Smith, that they completely underestimated the passion of football supporters here in the UK. They're American owners, they were new to football in this country, and you know, they did get it wrong, but now they've got it very, very right.
Very much so. I think they didn't realise what it meant to the community. You know, all of our football clubs in the EFL, to the community, to all the fans in that local area, to the young kids that go and watch their team plays. It makes the weekends for these fans. Where their team wins, teams loses. It affects the commerce around the local areas. And we've seen, what you would say is, when Scott Lindsay took over, he would say that the club didn't have any soul, you know, that had gone, and he's actually brought that back. And you can tell the way that the players play today. We mentioned about the players. We see the Crawley Town players just celebrating in front of their fans over to our right-hand side. There was 17 new players at the beginning of the season, and 9 of them from non-league. And so Scott Lindsay, obviously, he scouts out, you know, so recruitment's been brilliant. And the way they played today, you'd have thought that they were top of League Two, Faye, because they've come here at Wembley. It hasn't fazed them. They've got the ball down. They've played against opponents who basically had their bellies tickled because Crewe haven't done very well. They haven't done exactly that. They haven't acquitted themselves particularly well. So, and you have to say that is all down to Crawley Town, because they had the best players on the pitch. The best player on the pitch was Liam Kelly, playing in the midfield area for Crawley Town, because he's got his goal, he's got his assist, but he's just general play. He was the one who made Crawley tick. And we had the massive VAR decision, which obviously turned the game completely, with Ben Toner, referee, given a penalty. Really bad play from Adam Campbell, the Crawley Town midfield player, who's a bad back pass. Chris Long got himself onto it, went 1v1 with Corey Adderley. It looked like he'd gone past him and that Corey Adderley had clipped him. In real time, Ben Toner, referee, pointed to the penalty spot. Corey Adderley jumped up and actually said, no, I've touched the ball. Michael Salisbury, the VAR, he actually tells Ben Toner to go and have a look, and we saw on the replays, and it was a big Inspector Gadget right leg that came out from Corey Adderley, and he just took the ball with his right big toe, and it was overturned, quite rightly so. That was a huge turning point in the game, because obviously Crewe get their penalty. If they score it, they go back to 1-1. Adam Campbell, the Crawley midfield player, has a massive sigh of relief. Crawley stay 1-0 up, and they go on to dominate the rest of the game.
Yeah, and neither manager, it's important to say, wanted VAR in this game. Scott Lindsay is a very relieved man that it was decided they were having it anyway.
I think he'll have a VAR tattoo.
Listen, I know your thoughts, Perry Groves, on VAR, and it gets a hell of a lot of stick. However, these kind of decisions, which can cost a club an absolute fortune, promotion, in fact, change an entire game, is why it's so vital. Just watching the Crewe players over on our left-hand side, absolutely desolate on their haunches, some of them lying down, others applauding their fans, as you would expect. The captain, Mickey Demetriou, in fact, going around and getting claps above heads from the Crewe fans, and actually he's taking off his captain's armband and throwing it into the crowd, and some lucky kid's going to have that, because regardless of the result today, they've done their club proud through the season that they've had, and I'm sure they'll be back again.
Yeah, well, I think they just come into bad form at the end of the season, coming into playoffs. Only one win in the last 10 games. They actually did brilliantly to overturn a 2-0 deficit when they played Doncaster Rovers, obviously in the second leg, because Donny were in brilliant form, showed a lot of spirit, a lot of heart. And I'm looking at the Crewe Alexandra players. They'll be there. It's devastating when any time you lose at Wembley, Faye, it is devastating. You just want to get off the pitch, get out of there, forget about it. But it's more devastating when you haven't done yourself justice. When you're looking at your fans and thinking it wasn't through lack of effort. I'm not saying no, I wouldn't accuse them of lack of effort, but there was a lack of structure. There was a lack of intensity. There was a lack of dynamism. You know, when you have to win your 50-50s. Not only did Crawley Town play brilliantly with the ball, they were quicker to the ball. They won all the little 50-50s, all the the little knockdowns, which Crewe Alexandra didn't. They had to try and impose themselves physically on Crawley, and they didn't. And I can see, you said there, a lot of the Crewe Alexandra players are sitting on the floor. They're just staring out, obviously, to their fans, and they'll actually be thinking, "We're sorry. We're sorry we haven't done ourselves justice." And you pan over to our right-hand side, obviously, where the Crawley Town players come up the stairs.
Yeah, and led by their captain, Dion Conroy. Liam Kelly was just behind him, and the scorer of the first goal, Danilo Orsi, who's just been absolutely superb this season. 25 goals, almost had his 26th right at the death there. But the players heading up to the Royal Box to receive the League 2 playoff final trophy, which our commentator Nigel Adderley will take you through.
And Will Wright just walking past us here with a selfie stick, I think. I wonder if he's on the phone to his brother after that.
Well, that's the modern day players, the massive selfie stick. In the old days, you'd have scarves and hats and flags all draped round you. Maybe it's a bit too hot for putting a woolen hat on. But Addy Day is just walking past us. He was absolutely fantastic. Even though he wasn't under a lot of pressure, he kept his concentration levels very high and made a massive save when he needed to.
And Scott Lindsay, the manager, just heading up the steps. Last of all, looks to be a reluctant hero in many ways, but this really is his triumph, as we've been saying. He inherited an absolute shambles halfway through last season, kept Crawley in the Football League, and he was signing players nobody else really wanted. Liam Kelly, player of the match here today, relegated with Rochdale, and Rochdale were really poor last season. No one was signing their players, particularly not teams with hopes of promotion. But they have got the job done in spectacular fashion. And Dion Conroy, their captain, who followed the manager from Swindon, can now enjoy the moment with the rest of these players who were basically signed to try and stabilise a club who almost went out of the Football League, and they've only gone and got promoted. And for the owners, who are unlikely in so many ways, this has been a triumph for them. And Crawley Town, who have had a decade of abject underachievement in the fourth tier following relegation, are now back. And Preston Johnson and Eben Smith, the two owners, shaking hands with every single one of those players, and they'll believe it was all worthwhile now.
Well, as I said, we're all going to make it. That's what their mantra is. That's what they were called. We're going to Wagme United LLC. And as Faye said, to be fair, when owners come in, there are egos and they think they can do better and they know better. And they thought, no, we've made such a... And it was a mess, Nigel, wasn't it? It was an absolute mess.
And Crawley Town can celebrate. Scott Lindsay and Dion Conroy, the captain, lift aloft the playoff trophy. The fireworks and the ticker tape go off here at Wembley. An unlikely success in so many ways, but the club, owned by the crypto investors, are promoted into the third tier of English football. Nobody gave them a prayer this season, but they have stuck together and they have got it right, and Wembley belongs to Crawley Town.
The ticker tape is falling down just in front of us. Amazing scenes up just above us in the Royal Box here at Wembley Stadium as each player takes the League 2 playoff trophy and kisses it and rises it aloft. Incredible scenes indeed. One last thing on these owners, which I found absolutely fascinating. When they took over the club, they said, in 2 years' time, if we're not doing a good enough job, get rid of us as directors. They have stuck the Crypto brothers to that pledge, and there's going to be a vote this summer from season ticket holders and NFT owners who are going to decide whether or not they should stay on. Something like this might sway the vote a little bit.
Well, the crypto investors have actually cashed in. They've actually cashed in. It's exactly the right time, Faye. And you said there's lots of owners who go into football clubs, think they know better. They get it wrong and they keep doing the same thing. The definition of insanity, keep thinking the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. That actually changed it. It's very difficult to hand over power. To hand over to someone and think, you know better than what we do. Scott Lindsay does, and he's actually proved it. So now, when they have their vote, you can bet your life, obviously, they'll be voted in, because the Crawley Town fans feel now that they've got owners that get what the EFL's about. They get what Crawley Town's about. They get what Scott Lindsay's about. So it's all positive for Crawley Town, and it's just that they'll back him as well. Going up to League One, obviously you need a bigger budget to go and get players, and you bet your life that Scott Lindsay will have his eye on players already. From other clubs players are being let go on free transfers, which he's done brilliantly. So Scott Lindsay, his coaching staff, his recruitment as well, which is very, very important. Hats off, because it shows that if you're an unfashionable club, you can still compete. It's exactly what they've done today. And that cheer was for Scott Lindsay, holding aloft the playoff trophy. And I have to say, Faye, speaking as a fan of a League Two club, there's been so much chequebook success this season. Wrexham, Stockport, Mansfield, spending, in League Two terms, outlandish sums of money, the most expensively assembled teams we've ever seen in this division. The fact that Scott Lindsay and Crawley have got together a group of players, other teams' cast-offs and non-league players, and they have done it with some brilliant football here today, but they've done it on the basis of team spirit and togetherness, and that alone gives hope to every other League Two supporter. It shows you can do it without Hollywood owners paying players exorbitant fees.
Very, very well said, Nigel Adderley. Really important to know that in the era that we're living in at the moment. Listen, it's been an absolute pleasure to have both of your company as always. Perry, thank you.
Pleasure's all ours, Faye.
You are going to have time to get to the Emirates now.
I'll see.
You can listen to Talksport, because Arsenal-Everton is over on Talksport, live commentary from 4 o'clock. Perry was praying that we weren't going to extra time and penalties today, so he could listen in to see whether his beloved Gooners can do the job and Manchester City slip up. You'll hear all of that over on Talksport. Nigel, thank you as always for your magnificent commentary. Lucky number 7 then for Crawley. 7th time in 19 years, 7th place has been promoted through the playoffs. Coming up next on Talksport 2, we bring you exclusive Premier League coverage from the final day of the season as Sheffield United host Tottenham Hotspur. We will bring you all the build-up ahead of live match commentary next. But here at Wembley is Crawley celebrating. They join Stockport, Wrexham and Mansfield back in League One for the first time in 9 years.
And the Sky Bet League 2 playoff final is off and underway on the home of the EFL, Talksport 2. Now Liam Kelly looks to slip it through to Orsi, back towards Liam Kelly. Here is Orsi now inside the penalty area, stabs it towards goal and he scored! Danilo Orsi for Crawley Town, but now Crawley make a mistake, and here is Chris Long clean through, taken down by a die, and a penalty kick has been given to Crewe.
This will be overturned.
No penalty. Ben Toner has overturned the penalty decision. Kelly spins into the penalty area and opens up for the shot. Brilliant save by Stryek. That is a season-saving save.
Crawley are just toying with Crewe. It's like a cat with a ball of wool. Just playing with them.
Here is Kelly now inside the penalty area. Looks to square it low. The first shot is blocked, but the second one is in. And Liam Kelly seals promotion for Crawley Town. It's all the way through to Corey Adai. He gathers the ball and the full-time whistle goes. It took Crawley 128 years to get to Wembley. But when they got here, they have absolutely smashed it. And Crawley, tipped for relegation, now have the sweet taste of promotion.